Everybody, welcome to Friday Stocks. I'm going to say it's financial advice, entertainment purposes only. Got a space call. We're talking about the NYSE $2 billion market flush and all the corruption. Jan27 Protest. Hope you enjoy the show.
Yeah, it's just another 2.0, Robin 2.0, and they will keep doing it because they know nothing's stopping them, man. And that's when, when people say 500 a share or 10,000 a share, I'm like, man, come on, man. It's just.
Yeah, protest is necessary. We need physical presence, which is only going to grow. If my kid didn't have strep throat, I'd be going. I'd absolutely be there. The next one I'm going to try to attend. But there's not just DC. It's all over. It's, I think, Atlanta and out in California. And like I said, Charles Payne is going to be there live. So I'm going to try to get on and stream, and I'll pull up my YouTube TV and see if we can catch that. But this has to grow, and it has to grow fast because I think there's a bull rally coming up. I think the market's going to correct. I think we're going to have a new political regime installed who's more energy independent, which is going to put a hurting on the energy industry. And we haven't even got to the bottom of JP Morgan manipulating silver and gold markets. It came out in the news and there was a little regulatory action, but the mess is never cleaned up. The short book, the debt, the shares sold, not yet purchased, the security sold, not yet purchased, all that's still sitting there. And they don't know what to do. They want to put a blockchain exchange in, which I can't wait for. We'll have 24/7 blockchain stock market with Tzero clearing times. It'll change the name of the game, and retail will be able to profit amazingly on that because we're more in tuned with FOMO events. We're more in tuned with hype, buy the rumor, sell the new stuff. So, retail will do really good in a blockchain market. And funny enough, it's going to be BSTX with Tzero. Everybody hates Mark. Oh, I hate Mark. I hate Mark. Well, guess what? He's been right the whole freaking time. And that's where we're headed. But until they fix this huge short book, the security sold, not yet purchased, they've got to get everything cleared. And they got to start, moving stocks over to this system one by one in a manner where it's not going to blow the market up. So, hopefully pretty soon we see something happen because so far Gary Gensler has done nothing. He's a big nothing burger. Congress has done nothing but insider trade. Ken Griffin, who lied to Congress, was caught dead red-handed lying to Congress with Vlad Tenoff. They just had the most profitable year of Citadel's whatever, apparently. And Vlad Tenoff is running around out there with hundreds of millions of dollars that he took of his investors' money on the opening of the IPO, and then crashed his company and crashed the stock market and stole all our money because their app didn't work correctly. Their brokerage didn't work correctly. So maybe it is time for torches and pitchforks.
How's it going, guys?
Oh, I'm totally not mad today. I'm not upset about anything, man.
Yeah, it's I don't know what to make of yesterday's stuff. I see what everyone's saying, and I'll lean that way. But I think what it's telling y'all is just, this is far more pervasive. I just say the same shit over and over again, and gradually more and more people start to realize that it's not just about AMC. It's not just about GME. It's not just about these meme stocks that they try to compartmentalize us into. If you notice, they try to box us in and to marginalize us, right? And they're just crazy stonk investors, meme investors. No, what it is they're fighting for their lives because there's literally, I'll say it again and again, there are thousands of GNSs out there. Thousands that can go up 400% in 5 days. Thousands. They're standing on literally thousands of landmines. This was a business model. It is still a business model. It's an actuarial business model. Short them all using all the tools that the SEC gives you to take a hard dollar, take the dollar, put an IOU in your account, digital entry, take the money, then lever the money, reinvest the money into yielding instruments, and then the whole thing is just managing the liability. That's it. They sell without any intention of covering. So everyone's got to break this mindset in microcaps and small caps, where they can't do it in big caps because it just doesn't work over time. But in microcaps and small caps, it does. On an actuarial basis, it works. They sell without any intention of covering. So the average investor, trader, has a mindset of buy low, sell high, or sell high, buy low. But there's always a closing transaction. Get that out of your brain with how this model works. There's no closing transaction for these guys. It's about managing the liabilities. And I always like to put things in analogies. It's like a herd of cows, and they got them all, wrangled up pretty good. And then occasionally 2 or 3 will make a run for it. And they send some cowboys out. They lasso them up, wrangle them up, bring them back into the herd. They can handle 1 or 2 cows breaking loose, right? So they can handle a GNS going from 40 cents to $5, no problem. They see payment for order flow. They see all the orders coming at them. They see their enemy. They know where all the stop losses are. They know the average price. They know how much. They can see in real time the ebbing and flowing of buy interest in coming from retail, because it's all going through to their slaughterhouse. They can see where all the limits, the sell limits, are placed by traders. So they bought it at whatever, and that where they lay them all out to make their sale. They know exactly where that is. They see everything. That's payment for order flow. It's not just the order coming through their pipe in a blind thing, and they just front run it, chop it up, and move along. They're getting all the other data. And so it all works hand in hand. And they can handle 1 or 2, right? They can stay with it, keep selling more and more and more. And that's why the tokenizing of stocks was just like the most diabolically genius weapon of mass destruction for hedge funds that could have ever possibly been invented. I mean, when I started hearing about it, I was like, wow, that's it. What a genius thing. It's a endless pool of FTD proof naked shorts. You'll always have a fake borrow. And so they can handle 1 or 2. What they can't handle is a bunch of them at the same time. They can't handle 30 or 50 names all doing what GNS did, because it's just simple math. I've gone through it before. Is in microcaps and stuff. Okay, they have basic hedging, they've got index hedging, they got all sorts of other stuff. But I think it's fair to say that 20 to 30% of that book is in small caps and microcaps. Well, okay, that's 65 times the 20% is 13 billion plus a little bit more. Call it $15 billion. Well, if that book goes against them, that part of the book, short book, goes against them by 300% in a given week, right? That's $30 billion against them, right? On a $75 billion long book. They're dead. They collapse on that. That's just on a third of their book going against them at the same time. And they can handle a few cows getting loose, but they can't handle a third of their herd all making a run for it, because they don't have enough wranglers to go get them all back in. And so I think everyone's starting to see now this pressure's building. And if in fact what happened yesterday was related to that, and was to kind of crack that kind of FOMO, and or this stuff is all kind of rising together, because we can see, I mean, it's tight, man. There's a lot of stocks looking really good right now, right? And it doesn't seem like much, but when a SKLZ goes from 36 cents to 80 cents, that's a double, right? It doesn't take much to move this. And on a short book, that's a lot. And that's a lot for when a lot are doing it at the same time. It causes a lot of pressure. So they could have very well done this yesterday to crack that to because somebody was in a collateral problem where they're having trouble maintaining this stuff. Could absolutely be. I don't know. I doubt if we'll ever really find out, but you can certainly feel it. The fuckery that's going on. They're becoming more and more. I keep saying they're being forced to commit their crimes in broad daylight, and a rushed criminal always leaves more evidence than one that is not rushed, that can take their time. So it's a mosaic. It's a confluence of the pressure from the MMTLP crowds. It's FINRA fraud trending, at least once a day for 60 straight days. It's all this other stuff being called out. It's Roger Hamilton getting on Charles' show. It's these folks going to DC to protest. It's getting more and more hard, more and more difficult for the SEC, who's totally corrupt. Okay, they're totally corrupt. I mean, we've been through this. They could do basic, simple things, like I've suggested, where they could just require every brokerage firm under the purview of the SEC to every Monday of the first of every month file every share held at their firm by name. Okay, it doesn't have to. You just don't have to break it down. Just if E-Trade holds 3.75 million shares of Apple, that's it. And they just upload to a site, to the SEC site, each ownership of. You could immediately every month get a rough idea of ownership versus stated float, and any type of aberrations would show off immediately, right? The first time you'd be like, wait a minute, there's 80 million legal owners here, and there's only 50 million legal shares. That's not right. The SEC won't even do that, right? They won't even do your basic things because they don't want to, because they're corrupt, because they're captured. Patrick Byrne had it the whole way, right? They're captured. They're all captured. So all this stuff keeps just putting pressure. I think the CEO block is a fantastic idea, because they won't be able to if they can get, that's why I keep retweeting it and pushing it and sending it to I'm talking to 3 CEOs right now, beating them over the head, and they're and you just have to stay on it and be like, look, there's no downside for coming out publicly and stating that you support the efforts of these CEOs. You don't have to be as vocal as Roger Hamilton and getting on TV and doing all the other stuff, but you can certainly throw your hat in the ring and say, yeah, we absolutely have seen anomalies in our shares, and we support all the efforts of CEOs, and I'm proudly joining CEO block. Because if they can get...
Hey, Pedro, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. I have to ask a question.
Yeah.
Okay, and first I want to thank Spencer and Sugar for pulling people up, and I know James has his hand up. But are you aware of the connection between Roger Hamilton, GNS, and Citadel?
Is this Morant's Rants?
It's your man. I have a question.
Dude, you're such a fucking jackass. You came in here talking shit, and then you came crawling back.
Did I not say thank you for having me?
Crying the blues.
Okay, here's the reason.
Apologizing to me, and now you're talking crap on YouTube again, and you want to come in the space call under a fake
So you don't
profile.
get it. You guys are giving out fake information.
You're a crybaby, dude. You are so whack, it's not even funny.
Morant, you always talk. I respect you that you came here and everything, right? But you always talk shit about AMC and every other stock. But you never mention once about GME, BBY, what your CEO did, why that guy jumped off the roof, how many people were left bag holding. So why is it always that you pick and choose what suits your narrative so you can get clicks on the YouTube? Is it all about that? Is your life all about that? And I'm gonna let you talk, but there are other people in front of you, so you can wait your turn and let them finish, and then we'll get back to you. Okay? I will not be disrespectful, but we'll get back to you. Let the other people go first. Let Pedro finish first. Don't interrupt him again, please. Pedro, finish, man. Sorry about the interruption.
No problem. Just tell that clown to stop interrupting, because I wouldn't do that to other people, and he shouldn't do that to me. So it doesn't matter what affiliation Roger Hamilton's, if he has any affiliation with Citadel, is meaningless. It doesn't mean anything, okay? I really don't care what it is, because what he's doing, if he is, then it's a really stupid 4D chess plan by Citadel to, let me guess, this is a shiny mirror to attract people to buy GNS and sell their AMC, blah, blah, blah. Give me a break. Okay. I know what I know, and I've watched this shit for 15 years. Okay. When CVP has a guy on TV who's saying the quiet parts out loud. Okay. I've watched for 15 years, and I've talked to dozens of CEOs who've told me straight up that they're scared shitless to talk about naked shorting publicly because their own lawyers and the SEC will come down on them as manipulating and going after short sellers. So they're scared shitless of doing it. So the mere fact of Roger Hamilton getting on CNBC and saying, or Fox Business, and saying all the things he said, and then following through and saying naked shorting, spoofing, DTC, calling everybody out, this notion that he's a Citadel affiliated. Well, if they are, they're dumb as fucking rocks, because what they're doing is they're pushing more and more toothpaste out of the fucking tube. Okay. And this gets momentum. And then once the momentum starts, you can't get the toothpaste back in the tube. And you know what? Who cares the motivations? I really don't care. He's coming out and he's calling out everything out loud. He's giving air cover for all these other CEOs. Very close to one CEO who I think is ready to go because of that, because he's told me for years, look, I don't want this fight because I don't want the fight, right? Look what happened to Patrick Byrne. He was marginalized. It took resources. I'm trying to raise, run my business. I don't need this. But then he sees this, he's going, wow, that gives me air cover, right? This is giving all of these guys air covers. And more importantly, to CEO Block, okay, doesn't even matter with GNS, but for CNS, for CEO Block, which is the Jeremy Frommer side of things, there's getting an organized group of 100 or 200 CEOs of microcap companies, okay, and getting organized and then presenting an organized front to the SEC from the actual CEOs running these businesses is nothing but positive, period. Don't try to fucking tell me, well, this guy's did this and he filed for bankruptcy on this other company and blah, blah. I don't fucking care. It's bullshit. Doesn't matter. It's all about presenting a unified front so that guys like Gary Gensler, okay, have to go to his buddies and say, guys, you fucked up this time. I have to go cover my ass now. I can't help you anymore. I always use the analogy of having, you have your best buddies in the world that you would do almost anything for, except for the almost any part. If they come to you and say, dude, I fucking killed somebody, you'd be like, dude, you're on your own. I can't help you anymore. I'll help you up to a certain point. And that's how this shit's going to happen. It's the regulators and people at FINRA. All it will take is one person at FINRA stand up and say, I'm not taking this shit anymore. I'm not worth shit. And I've got guys that are fucking worth $1 billion telling me to risk my career for you. You know what? I'm not doing it anymore. And they become a whistleblower. It just takes one. It takes one person at the SEC who meets with with Wes Christian and the head of CEO Block, who represent 250 signatures of publicly traded CEOs, saying we want shit to change. We want to know who short sellers are. Our investors have to file. Why aren't we? We want an answer. Okay. And if all this stuff pushes towards getting those things out there, I don't fucking care who they're affiliated with. Doesn't matter. It's just stepping on the toothpaste to squirt more shit out that cannot be put back. And that's what I'm seeing happen in real time. And it's causing, you can see their balls are in a vice, and it's every day is one half turn. Yeah, every once in a while, they'll knock it back a little bit, take some pressure off, but pressure is building. Okay? So whoever that clown was, don't even let him back up, because I'm just not going to waste my time with somebody telling me, well, he was affiliated with Citadel. Well, Dave Lauer was affiliated with Citadel. Am I skeptical of Dave in some stuff? Yeah. But he is also working towards getting more shit out there. So I don't know, but it's all in the right direction for me.
I'll be honest. I just booted him and blocked him because he came in under a side account. His original Twitter account got banned because he lies, he defrauds, and he says stupid things enough to be banned on Twitter. He claimed he's a GameStop affiliate. He's not.
Yeah.
And he came in talking smack about me and tried to do a hit piece on me. I cleared it, got past all the FUD and all the attacks, and then he came and apologized to me and Tara, come crawling back, licking his wounds, apologized to me and Tara so he could be on our space calls. And then he goes out and starts talking crap again after he gets banned. And I gave him a second chance, only to come in to try to FUD CEO Block. Marantz Rants is trying to FUD a market movement for fair markets.
Correct. It's the most ludicrous thing. Even if it's not perfect, like who cares? I don't even care if it's not perfect. Just get the fucking signatures. I've been talking to certain people saying, look, make sure you just get on one attainable goal. And for me, it's short transparency. They're all connected. The four that I always talk about are all connected more than anybody really realizes just how much they're connected. But short transparency might actually be bigger than banning payment for order flow. It might actually be bigger than the market maker exemption. And I would say it could almost be as big as putting the uptick rule back in, because these guys would never put on the positions they would put on in a micro cap if they had to lift their skirt and show their junk. It's all about anonymity. It's all about, well, it's only, many CEOs I've talked to, they're like, well, our stated reported short interest is only 4%. And then 380 million shares trade in a week in their stock. And they call me back and say that this is impossible. I said, well, now you understand, right? And now so if you can get a group like CEO Block together and get them organized into one, having an open mind towards migrating, in locking arms and migrating over to blockchain or issuing a digital token, and they do 50 of them migrate at the same time, one pack of the herd goes, it'll provide air cover for the rest. And guess what? You want to see fucking chaos? If next week 50 CEOs all announced that they were going to be issuing a digital dividend token to be traded on Tzero, just 50, it would cause fucking chaos. So, but the first step is get organized and say, okay, we want short investors to have the same filing requirements as our long investors, because all these CEOs, see what these guys also do, and I know this for a fucking fact, they will buy a small position so that the companies, these CEOs of these small companies, and they're just normal people like us, it comes around, oh my God, wow, so-and-so, and they believe in our dream. They believe in our vision. No, they don't. They do it so that you'll pick up the phone call when they call and to feel you out about what's going on. Meanwhile, they're short 15 times their position hidden. Well, if you have short transparency and they have to file, it blows up the whole model. This whole actuarial model that I talk about, it blows it all sky high. All right, it's already come up for vote. There's 22 congressmen and senators who voted against it. We got our targets. I always post the list of all of them. We have our targets. Now you get CEOs together, you get lobbyists, you hire the right people to put the right pressure to get half of those 22 to vote yes instead of no. And now all of a sudden you got real problems for these shorts, because they're going to have to come out and say, yeah, we're short 80% of the flow to this one. We're short 110% of the flow to that one. And yeah, and that's kind of times 1,000 companies. They have to stay hidden. It doesn't work because 5% doesn't move the needle, right? If they wanted to keep it under 5%, i.e., they don't have to file. All right, you take a company that's, it's got a 60 million share float, right? That's three, and your 10% is 60 or 3 million shares. Taking it for a $75 billion fund, if they're short 3 million shares of a $5 stock, for it to go to 2, it doesn't move the needle. Then once they're above 5%, everybody knows who they are. Companies know who they are, so they shut them out for information. And now they're exposed, and it changes the whole thing, because they would never. That's what happened to Melvin. That's what happened to Gabe. He wasn't long puts, folks. He was long a swap instrument that was open-ended, that was basically like the entire flow, because that's how you can only lose as much as he lost. right? If he was long puts, he would have, the most you can lose in any option if you own the option is the premium you pay, right? So he had to be long an instrument that was open-ended, okay? That was hidden. Nobody, and then it got exposed. And what happens when he got exposed? He got run over and taken behind the woodshed. That would happen in thousands of stocks if we can just get them to file their shorts. So I encourage and applaud any effort, whether it's Roger Hamilton, whether it's Jeremy Frommer, whether it's Charles Payne, who's helping, Patrick Byrne, anybody who is going to push the narrative forward for free and fair markets. I'll turn it back.
Absolutely, man. And that's, you know, Sugar, you know what's funny? You got two major players that have been on Wall Street that come into our space calls, Pete, and you got Mark, and they're saying the same thing. And if Adam Aaron and the community would have got behind Tzero, this play would have been over. People would have had their money and cashed out. And AMC could have raised billions of dollars by using the security token to raise capital. Yep. And then if it wasn't working, say OSTK went to 300 and came back down, then you convert the security token back to common shares and you set back up shop again.
But Spence, you and me and everybody knows, the people, those who know why people didn't go for it. Why did CEO Adam still is he's like, if other CEOs, all he had to do is like Pete is saying, like, he didn't have to say, you know, just say, oh, they are naked shorts in AMC, this and that. He don't have to. But, you know, that man, we have seen it like from last so many months. Like, your actions speak loud. Buddies, help his bondholders. He profited. He filled his pockets, and all these people with people within the community, the YouTubers, these grifters, these cloud chasers, if they at least they could have been the thoughtful for the community, we would not be even sitting here. We could have put all together, put pressure on him with Tzero. We would not be even doing this call today, Spence, if we would have done this in 2021 October when we started. But, you know, it's sad that, you know, people are still willing to just, you know, ass kiss him every day. Oh, he's the best. He's the Lord. And all these.
I hate to break this to people, but there's a reason why I post the picture of Adam Aaron as the captain of the Titanic. He sank the ship. I hate to break this to everybody. I hate to break it to everybody. He sank the ship for his pals. Okay, I don't care whether you like me or not. You can block me, you can unfollow me, you can do whatever you want. The guy sank the ship. I'll give you just a simple analogy to demonstrate. Okay, the stock was $45. He admitted in an interview that he unilaterally pulled the vote, even though he was going to get the votes to increase authorized shares to sell at $45. Stock was $45 at the time. He unilaterally chose to not take the flexibility of being able to raise. Let me repeat, the vote was not to force him to dilute. All he was doing was getting the flexibility in case he needed to raise money. Now, wait a minute. You're telling me that he wasn't aware that the company was in horrific financial shape with a debt burden that was absolutely choking the company out? Of course he knew. Of course he knew. Any lawyer could go get the email communications, the board minutes prior to that interview where he admitted to pulling the vote. All you'd have to do is say, give me all communications with the board, and to determine whether Adam Aaron was aware that the company was in financial dire straits. Then the next question is, well, sir, why would you choose to restrict the flexibility of the company being able to raise money? People understand. You have to understand. Had he sold 10 million shares, 10 million at 45, he would have raised $150 million more than he did by selling 357 million shares. Think about that. As Elon would say, let that sink in. Had he sold 10 million shares at 45, 10 million, taking the float from 516 to 526, he would have raised $450 million. A year later, he sold 357 million shares and raised less than $250 million in cash. All right. That's like you owning a small business in COVID and you have a buddy from college who hit it big, right? Who was very successful. He comes to you, and let's say you have a restaurant, right? You open, I open Pedro's Bar and Grill, right? And Charlie Gasparino is my head chef, right? And I am during COVID, and I'm struggling, right? I don't know if I'm going to survive. I got loans, I got all this other stuff. It's a great concept, but you know what? It's COVID hit, and one of my buddies from college calls me up and says, "Yo, hey Pedro, listen, man, I fucking banked it in the .coms. I'm retired. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put $5 million in an account. Here's the checkbook. You don't have to take it. There's no interest. No interest at all. You can draw on it if you need it, and then we can work out paying it back at some time. But why don't you just take it, just to have it, to keep your business open? Because I actually think your concept is going to work. We just have to get through this hard time." That would be what Adam Aaron did. Would be me turning down my college buddy who's offering me the flexibility to stay in business and to be more financially secure. It's ludicrous that any CEO in his situation would turn down that flexibility. Okay, that's the first one. He sank it. Second, when AMC was $25, okay, had he just come out first and said, "Hey, listen, everybody, we're hemorrhaging money. We need to raise capital. I'm asking the retail community to approve a vote. We're going to have a proxy, go through the same process that he wants to go through now. Okay, but just do it. Don't do all the split 8 bullshit. None of it. I need an authorization of 100 to be able to sell 100 million more shares. Okay, I would guarantee you, not guarantee, but I would think that if your stock started at $23 with $100 million shares to sell, with all the ape community buying options and everything else, and they knew that what was going on, that a capital raise was underway, I bet you he'd be able to sell 100 million shares with an average price better. If he started at 22, I bet you he would have been able to get a better average price of $3. Everybody agree with that? Because that's the equivalent amount of money. It's actually worse than that. I can go through the real numbers. It's basically like getting an average price of like 88 cents. I did the math the other day for the amount he raised on 357 million. But my guess is he could have sold 100 million shares and gotten a $10 average. If he started at 22, that meant he sold half above 10 and half below 10. I think he could have. That would have been $1 billion. We would have had 616 million shares outstanding, 100 million shares of dilution. We would have had $1 billion in the coffers. And guess what that would have done, though? 100 million shares wouldn't have satisfied, even if the shorts bought every share that he had to sell of the 100 million. That is pissing in the ocean for what the real short is, which is multiples of that. We all know that.
Squeeze would have still been on the table even afterwards.
Right? Yeah. $1 billion at that time with 616 million shares outstanding with $1 billion in cash could have refied the 2026 debt. You could have moved other shit around. And guess what would have happened? As soon as anybody who's traded institutionally knows, when you have 5 million shares to sell or 3 million shares to sell, and your client tells you to get going, you do not stop until 65% of the order's done. Okay, you just lay on it. If they want to move them and they want to move the piece of merchandise, that's what you do. Okay, you don't hang around. You control the price. You take it down. You find liquidity. You stay there until you get about 65% of your order done. Because then, from a mathematical standpoint, for your average, you can start to back off a little bit and be a little cuter with it. So with 100 million shares, he would have had to been sloppy, really sloppy, with 65 million, right, to get those done. But then once that money got into a bank account, it would have been actually a very bullish fundamental scenario. So what would have happened was the stock would actually start rising, and then you'd be selling on the way up to finish your 100 million share order. Okay, so not only did Adam Aaron turn down flexibility when the stock was 45, and he says it, not me, he says it in an interview. I made the unilateral decision. It was my call. Dude, it was your call to turn down flexibility when you knew the company was hemorrhaging cash? And explain that one to me. And
let me ask you real quick. Why didn't Adam Aaron do any of these things? In the most simplest answer you can give.
because he had to bail out the other side.
Yeah, he didn't want to. He got the call. They said, don't do this, don't do that. We'll hook you up. You'll have a seat at the table. He did everything he could possibly do to dilute us at the lowest price possible, at the maximum amount of shares.
Correct.
And I hate to break it to everybody, but when this thing converts, now you have the short sellers that just made 200% on APE shares at 66 cents. They converted into AMC shares. They can come out and decide to short those too if they want. And they can take AMC even lower.
But it'll change, because if they can complete the conversion and reverse split, and then they raise capital on it, because the $4 billion of excess capacity in APE is going to move over to AMC, which after reverse split becomes 400 million shares of excess capacity. He'll be able to raise money, which makes the company healthier, which then the shorts will have nothing to go after. So it goes together. But I say this to people. I'll just a quick quiz. How many shares outstanding before the APE split?
516.8 million.
How many are there now?
Well, like of AMC now, probably like 520 something or so.
So you had a single house. The single house had 516 units in its side, right? And you split those in two. How many does the combined APE plus AMC have outstanding now?
Like 1.3 billion.
Well, it's more than that. It's Adam Aaron, even not my words. Adam Aaron tells us it'll be 1.4 billion. People don't even know that most of the damage is already fucking done. And that's why I'm sitting there advocating, like, you don't ever want to let him over to the other. He turned your house into a duplex, took the one side, turned it into a college, frat party house, right? Now he's knocking on your door, wanting to come into the good side. The AMC has not been. It's virgin snow. It doesn't have a ski track on it. It's still 516 million shares. He still has no capacity to sell any stock. Okay, and it's not touched. So why would anybody want to do that? If you're actually trying to help your shareholders, what you would do is, and his words again, not mine, APE and AMC are equal, correct? They were split equally. Okay, well then, why are you even converting and reverse splitting? Why don't you just reverse split APE and keep that as your college frat house and keep paying down the mortgage until it's paid off, and then you're going to move back in, you fix it up, and you go. Why not? Why aren't we just reverse splitting APE 1 for 10 or 1 for 5 and be transparent with the AMC community, saying we need to raise $1.5 billion. Okay, APE's going to be it. You're going to know it. Sorry, but COVID took enough of a hit on us, but we're going to keep AMC pristine. The AMC side's going to stay pristine. We're going to keep diluting on the APE side. Okay, we're going to reverse split and keep whatever. So you're going to have to keep up with your dilution over here. But this side's not going to be. The only reason for converting and reverse splitting is to bail out the shorts that are in an uncoverable situation in AMC. That is the only reason, period.
Guarantee the vote so they can get out from underneath it, which is why I sold my APE at $1.90 because the gap's starting to close. But that's why I devised strategies for after conversion to play it to get some money back. Because now everybody should vote no. Everybody should, unless you're playing the APE arbitrage, then you want to vote yeah. But if you want the squeeze in the company to survive, none of this should happen.
Well, yeah, none of it a long time ago should have happened. All right, so it's one thing after another, but now you're here. And look, the last call that we were on, we talked about that, and I've said that. Look, I'm bullish on both here. Last time we talked, I think AMC was 4 and APE was $1.20. So they both moved nicely after that, and AMC had more of a move. And there's a certain way, at least my opinion, of what will happen if the vote goes yes and both vote, APE and AMC will move together up and into that. And then once they know it's complete, I actually think they're going to want to take the stock up nicely, because they know they're protected and it's not going to run away from them, because the company will have 400 million shares to sell to them. So they'll be what's called stopped out, and I don't know if people know from a trading perspective or trading firm what understanding what stopped out means. Is that once the conversion and the reverse split go through, the shorts will know that they're stopped out by the company because the company will have 400 million shares to sell to them. Right now, the company has no shares of AMC they can sell to them. I did a tweet a while back about still apes are apples and AMCs are pineapples. Right now, only apples can cover apples and only pineapples can cover pineapples. What they're proposing is to be able to have an apple cover a pineapple, and that's the conversion side of it. And so, right now, they're still separate. But if it's approved, I would expect both Ape and AMC to move up. The Ape will probably do a catch up because it's at a discount now on an arbitrage standpoint. It will close the gap, and then they'll both rise together. They'll start trading like as if they're equals again, and then into the conversion, then into the reverse split. And then I think that once it reverse splits, it will get then shorted down another 50%. The company, Adam Aaron, will go on another selfie tour and then miraculously say, thank the Lord above, I found a buyer at $50 for 100 million shares. The company is free at last, free at last. Meanwhile, that's selling 100 million shares. Split adjusted is 1 billion shares. That's the equivalent of selling 1 billion shares at $5. The shorts get to cover at $5. They've already taken care of the ape side. And then that's what I keep saying is the third mouse gets the cheese. Then you have a real investable company because you have AMC has survived. It's basically the strongest, most powerful theater chain in the world. It'll have no debt. It'll be free cash flow positive. They can go on acquisition tour. They can promote the credit card. They can promote ape popcorn. They can promote ape coffee. Like I said, I did that, and I did that tweet a while back of had he just back then started ape coffee. He could have been generating 125 million. I honestly believe he could be generating 125 million in free cash flow just on ape coffee had he done that a year ago. They slow played all this shit, but that'll all get accelerated once it's all reorged and everyone's taken care of and his buddies don't get, taken behind the shed. So
I got a question. I'll let Miss Harris go because she has her hand. She probably have some question. Miss Harris, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. This is for Spence. This is from KJW. Whoever that is. They're saying, Spence, have you watched any Ant Trace videos? He's new on the block, and he's saying AMC is ready to blow up. Your opinion, Spence?
Who?
It's from K.
Who's the tuber?
Yes, it's Spence. Have you watched any of Ant Trace videos? He's new on the block.
Nope.
And he's saying AMC is ready to blow up. Your opinion?
No. I mean, I have to go look at his DD, but it's not going to blow up. And anybody who's realistic isn't making videos right now saying AMC is going to go to the moon. That's clickbait.
Well, I'll interject. I'll say and I've maintained that there is a scenario where AMC can go ballistic, but it won't be because of anything AMC does. It'll be because behind the curtain, all this pressure on naked shorts and the ability to maintain a borrow breaks. And then you start getting prime brokers that are nervous and start calling in shorts on the AMC side. Then you could get the window for AMC going bonkers. And people think I'm negative and bearish. I can see a scenario where just the AMC side goes to like $40, like 10x from here. I can see that scenario, but it would require something breaking behind the scenes where the borrow falls apart and then it becomes I said before, it was like the inverse of Paramount. When it cracked with Archegos, it would be the chart upside down.
Every time we get to that scenario, they halt the stock, they halt the market, they take away the buy button. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not disagreeing with you, but I will say the way I think it's going to play out is AMC is going to stay right around where it is, right around $6, right? It's not going to cross $6. The vote's going to come out, and all of a sudden, Ape is going to shoot up, close the arbitrage gap. It's going to convert, and then we're going to see if these short sellers, if it converts and it goes to $3, we're going to see if these short sellers are going to come in and short it even further take it down to $1.90 and then cover to try to kick it to 7 for a reverse split to get it to 70.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I think it's too hard to try to get too wrapped up in. I have my basic scenario, how it plays out, and I could be wrong. I was just saying, I'm not making the call that it's going to go ballistic, but there is a scenario where, and I've said it over long, that you have to assign a very reasonable probability that it can go, that the AMC side can go bonkers before they get this plan pulled off. It can absolutely go bonkers, but it won't have anything to do with what AMC does. It won't be because Adam Aaron's playing 4D chess, and it won't be because of any of that. It'll be because JP Morgan is flinching and they're calling in. They don't like their risk profile on, in terms of their exposure and counterparty risk on the short side, and they start calling the shit in. And
I hope you're right, man. More than anything, I hope you're right so people can get their money back.
Me too. Look, trust me, that's the most bullish scenario, and that's what the way I think you play it is you're long ape, because the probability is that they have their vote rigged and they're going to get this thing done. So just because they generally get their way. So, I think you're long that, and then you're long AMC calls, because any kind of event in AMC, if it blows, she's going to blow. And it'll be like AMC will be like 12 or 13 and APE will be 2. It'll make no sense. And it'll all be because one side has an uncoverable short position in it. The other side, the short position's already been pretty much mitigated.
And that's the only reason I've been telling people that I'm going to look at calls, or I had calls, which landed in the money, and I've already cashed out once. Mm-hmm. But to minimize your risk on this, I'm not going to buy shares again and get ripped out. I'm going to wait and see what happens with the vote news, like you said. If it starts popping, I buy some calls and I make money and I see where it goes. Or if it converts and it drops, I buy calls at the new all-time low and ride it up to its, like $7 conversion price. So
I have APE stock and AMC calls out through March. That's how I'm playing it. And listen, my dog is whining at me. I got to take him out. I'll hop back on, but I have to go out and take the dog for a walk. And if you guys are still on, we'll be back.
Sure. And thank you, man. Thank you for always, coming and, people like to hear what you have to say. And, we are trying to help the best we can do, the best scenarios for people going forward, and for our own selves too. So thank you.
Yeah, anybody knows me. I have no vested interest in selling shit on this or merchandise or any of that crap. I'm just trying to spread the word. That's all.
That's it.
Okay. See you guys.
Thank you, bro. Miss Harris, go ahead, please.
Sugar, I'll tell you too, his calls out to March, that's exactly what I did. I bought APE at the low. I bought calls out to March. I didn't expect my AMC to value up, but they did. And that's how I cashed out recently and got out from under the rug. And I'm telling you, I'm watching close. I'm watching for the vote announcement. If AMC does start to walk, I just buy more calls out for, say, 30 days. But if it doesn't, I'm going to wait till post-conversion. Okay. Then I'm going to buy calls at the new ATL. And I'm going to wait for this thing to run 5 to 7 as shorts cover to get out so Adam Aaron can reverse split, take it to 70. And then I sell, because once it's $50 to $70, they're going to reshort it. Adam Aaron's going to want to raise capital, which means dilution, and the stock price is going to come back down. And I will tell you, the apes saved the company, but the people who are staying in AMC through this whole thing on the stock side, they're the ones who saved the company forever, because they are going to be, and like, if your cost average is already $30 and you're holding on to it through the split and the conversion, the conversion and the reverse split, your bag is going to double. It's going to be crazy.
I'm going to let Miss Harris go, but Spence, I just want to say, I don't use the word hate, but man, I really hate what this snake did to the community. What he did to the people, like he literally took the people, cut into half, and now he's trying to tell them, I'm going to put it back all together, and he's going to cut them so bad. It's just sad, man. I never seen like people, those who have so much money, and it's like money hungry people, they have kids and families, and they don't give a shit about other people. It's just sad, man. Miss Harris, go ahead. My blood's gonna
Okay,
boil
sugar,
otherwise.
but don't be swearing. Don't be swearing. Just
Okay,
I'm,
I
okay.
won't.
This
I
is for
won't. I won't.
Spence.
that's probably me too. I'm sorry, Miss
Spence,
Harris.
they said, do you? Are you saying we might lose money?
Have you already lost money is the question for one. Two, very simply put, when this converts, the AMC flow is going to be diluted, right, by 100% and then 25%. You're going to have a 1.4 billion float. Dilution means the price is going to go down. So when the price comes down, if he reverse splits during conversion the same time and the price comes down to 3 after the conversion and it's a reverse split to 30, you're going to have 10 less shares per share you own now. Say you own 100 shares, you're getting divided by 10. Your cost average is going to stay the same, but you're going to be at $30. It's not going to stay the same. Your cost average is going to go way up, but you're going to be at $30 now. So if you were already down 40-50% and it goes to $30 on the 10-to-1 reverse split and they reshort it back down to 10 again, you're hitting like 95-96% loss on your total position. The reverse split is absolutely terrible. The conversion, unless you're all in on APE and you're going to play the conversion to get like 40 to 100% on the arbitrage for the convert, and the price gap stays the same, I understand. That's what I was doing. But the problem is it's going to convert, it's going to dilute, it's going to bring the price down to $2 to $3. The shorts could cover there and the stock could run, and then he could reverse split and you could get out before that reverse split. Or he does it all at the same time because the vote passes and he traps you in a forever bag. Because if your cost average right now is $20 and the stock is 6 and it goes down to 3, you're now at almost a 70% loss, right? If he 10-to-1s it and shoots it up to 30, but you have that many less shares and it comes back down to 10, you're at like a 95% loss. So after the reverse split, the chances of a squeeze when the shorts have covered under $1 or under $3, I mean, it's just, it doesn't make any sense. And at this point in time, if you're going to hold, I'm not telling you to sell. If you're going to hold AMC to Tzero, good for you. You rock, man. This is amazing. All that. But I'm going to play AMC the way I see it coming out, which is watching for the vote. If I see the stock start to walk towards $6 again, I'll buy some call options for like a $7 strike out for 30 days. If it doesn't, then I'm going to wait for conversion until I see $3 or $2.50. I'll buy $3 strike calls. I'll ride it to 7 or 10. And then as soon as he announces a reverse split, I'll sell them. And I'll wait to see what happens on that reverse split new price. But what he's doing right now, I mean, you've already lost money. He forced APE on you. And then he let it run to 66 cents and sold shares. So, I mean, if you're going to sit and wait for this guy to keep doing this over and over again, I guess that's what you're going to do. But yeah, there's a huge potential for you to lose more money. If you're convicted in your play, I'm not trying to convince you out of it. I'm just telling you what I'm doing is I'm going to wait for the volatility, play the options, make my money back and get out of it. And I could be completely wrong. Maybe it does go to the moon like whoever was saying, but I mean, we were heading towards $6 just yesterday, and they flushed all the orders off the NYSE, and they halted the stock for no reason. So you got to keep that into consideration too.
And one more thing, we are here to discuss. You have your ideas, let's bring up, discuss, and everything. But what? It doesn't matter what I say, Spence says, Pedro says, or anybody. Take it, go, think about it. What was discussed here, and then do what's best for you. Nobody's telling you to sell. Nobody's telling you to buy. Do what's best for you. I always say this. Listen to every call. Whoever you want to listen, go listen to them. But at the end of the day, do what's best for you because nobody's going to pay your bills. I do what's best for me, man. I don't buy and hold for anybody. I wish everybody makes money. I'll be the last person to see anybody lose money because I know how hard it is to make money. But just do what's best for you. Start doing research. Do not ask questions. Don't be afraid of it. If somebody unfollows you, it's okay. Your money is on the line. Your lot of people have so much money invested, their kids' money or the college money and everything. And it's okay to ask questions. So if you have questions, come up, be respectful. We will discuss it and try to answer, and get more clarity, because I don't know what this all thing's gonna do, and I'm really worried, man, because I don't for the last 18 months all I have seen is talk. All I have seen is fake lollipops, one after checkmate, pounds, crow soup, and now this one, I ride with you. It's like, dude, we still need to see some kind of action towards your shareholders. And I hope it does. And the day, I see that Adam Aaron really helps his shareholders, people make money, I'll be the first one to go openly and apologize, like, hey man, I'm sorry, I apologize in front of everybody. But until then, I'll say he's a snake and he's a suit, and once a suit, always a suit. Miss Harris, go ahead. If you have any other questions, go ahead, please.
I don't have any right now. I'll raise my hand when I see one.
So James, you had a question regarding Mulan, man. Go ahead. Thank you for your patience. James, you still here? He's not. He might not be here. But Spence, go ahead, brother.
So Salvatore Palea, I hope I'm saying his name right, just tweeted, somebody put out a rumor that HLBZ was unloading shares, selling shares, right? So I'm going to try to figure out who it was, but he said, let me be clear, no dilution was made today or in the last 48 hours. The last time we used SEPA was Friday, 20th of January. Stop spreading fake news or believe the fake account. I'm all in for winning this. So somebody's out there saying that they're selling shares, I guess, which is interesting. If you're in the play.
Was that on HLBZ?
Yep. Which after he tweeted that, the stock just jumped 6% in the after hours. So they're gonna do whatever they got to do to try to crush. I mean, when all these stocks started running, these are the stocks Pedro was talking about, where these institutions are naked shorting these things and they're standing on a minefield. These guys are going to come out and try to do whatever they can do to disrupt the market, which was the NYSE halts, the 88 stock halts, the $2 billion order flush. It's absolutely crazy. People lost money because of what the NYSE did the other day.
Hey, Spence, this is T-Dog. How's it going, guys? I'm seeing a common thread. I want to talk about reverse split in their timeline. They're also authorized. They have 1 billion shares they can sell. They must be dumping them. And that's where these rumors are coming from. People don't realize just because a company's asking for shares, it's not necessarily going to use it. They just have to be ready to avoid getting delisted when they're penny stocks.
Right, exactly. Just meeting the requirements for the listing. Yeah, exactly what you said, man.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of fun about Mullen saying, "Oh, look, they're going to dilute." I was like, well, no, not necessarily. They have to hit the 2 requirements, and I thought it was good because I was scared we were going to be reverse split this quarter, and now it looks like they can easily push it out to June or September with an extension before they reverse split. So there's a lot of time. That's why I think the market reacted positive for Mullen, is it's time before a necessary reverse split.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree.
Team DRS. Miss Harris, I'll come right back to you. Team DRS, go ahead, brother.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, Spence, I got a question for you. So, we talked about this a little bit last time, but I'm kind of confused as how Fidelity has my shares broken down. Well, the value of the shares. So, my cost on AMC before Ape is like let's just say $53 a share. Ever since Ape was released, Fidelity's showing that now my cost average is $34, and then for Ape it would be $19.54. So the question becomes then, let's just say what Pedro was saying, like let's say the AMC ends up running to like $40. If I sold all my AMC and left my Ape and then it converted, would I then have an additional, would those Ape shares then be AMC shares? I'm trying to figure out how to get money back.
Yeah, if say this, if Pedro's theory came true and the AMC ran to like $30 and Ape stayed at 2, I would sell all my AMC and then I would let my Ape convert. But like the chances of that happening are pretty low. But that's correct though.
Okay, so if that doesn't happen, obviously I'm deep into this. I'm probably the biggest bag holder on Twitter in AMC. But so I have no choice but to hold. And so there's no other way for me unless I bought more Ape, right, before the conversion.
Yeah, but right now, you would still make more money if the price gap stayed the same. Because what's going to happen is with AMC, say at 533, say it stays under $6, and Ape's at $1.75. AMC with the dilution ratio will probably come down to $3 or so post dilution, which means your Ape would convert from $1.80 to a $3 share of AMC. So you would make money, right? That's a good gain. But you got to be careful, because if you go and buy a bunch of Ape right now at $1.70 and it drops to $1.60 or $1.40 and AMC comes down with it, then you're losing more. Or if you see Ape go to $2.50 and AMC stays at $5.40 or $5.50, you would just want to sell your Ape, because post conversion, you're not really making any gain when the price gap closes. At that point, what you would want to do is post conversion, if the reverse split is delayed, I would buy call options. If AMC was $3, I would buy like a $3.54 call option and wait for them shorts to start covering to run it to $7 or $8. Sell, the reverse split hits, and then you're going to have that $80 share price where shorts are going to come back in and reshort it, and Adam Aaron's going to dilute, and you could play the downside and recover your money if you want. There's like my scenario could happen. Pedro's scenario could happen. You just got to be really quick on your toes, and you got to be willing to move your shares, and you got to be willing to play the volatility to fix your bag on this. Because if you're just going to hold and you're going to keep all your AMC is going to get diluted by 125%. And then you got to hope it comes back up to your cost average before the reverse split. And if it doesn't, the reverse split's going to get hit, and then you're going to get reshorted and you're going to lose more value. So you want to be on your toes with the volatility play in this.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Right, man. And I wish, I wish you get your money, dude. I know how much money you are down. I can't even imagine. But I pray to God that you get your money back. At least get your money back. That's
me too.
That's just crazy.
I'm gonna be tweeting and streaming everything I do with this strategy. Even though I don't own any right now, I'm still looking to get back in to play the volatility. And I'm gonna be tweeting what I'm doing specifically to play that. And I know I tweet like 5 billion times a day and it's annoying, but you guys will be able to see it. And my DMs are open. So when it starts popping off, I'm sure me and Sugar will want to hold some space calls, and we'll talk it out as it's happening so people can try to fix their bags, man.
As long as I'm making money, man, I'm good. I gotta make money. I'm here to make money. That's. Please.
Okay, I have 3 questions. They're gonna be quick. Spence, can you talk about? Can you tell someone how they can get in the space call? This is from Channel Owner. He wants to know how can you get in the space call. Then I'll ask the other one after that.
How to get in the space call?
Yeah,
you got to have a Twitter account, and then you got to click on like me or Sugar's icon or anybody in the call. It'll have a purple ring around it, and then a box will come up and it'll say join space call.
Okay, and the next one is, can you look at WISA? Then I have one more after that. Someone didn't That is from WISA. It's from. God, I gotta go way back.
All the after
From
hours.
channel owner as well. They said, can you look at WISA?
All the after hours right now are green for the shorted stocks.
Yep, they're all up 5%. It's because the orders are starting to flow through again. They crushed the FOMO, but I got in and out real quick on that one. I didn't hang in on that one, so.
Okay, here's the last one. This is from channel owner. He said the price is fake, but why would he want to sell?
You cannot prove to me that the price is fake. There's not a single person that has a single piece of data to tell me that the AMC or APE price is fake. Because what is real is what's in front of you and what is happening at the moment. And if you're gonna hang on to the price is fake and it's gonna go to $5,000 one day because this YouTuber told me so, you are going to hold on to AMC forever. You'll be a forever holder because you're never going to be in the green. That's almost a guarantee. So the market makers, the indexes, the exchanges, the SEC and FINRA are consistently bending the rules to beat retail so that these events don't happen, which is why I think they're going to unwind AMC the way I said, which is going to be conversion. AMC comes down to 3 to 250. The shorts look at possibly covering at that range, shoot it back up, let's say 10 to 20 bucks even. And then Adam Aaron reverse splits and it goes to 100, 200 bucks. And they reshort it down. And anybody who held just AMC through all of this, they're going to triple their bag and they're going to be sitting with a horrible P&L and they're going to be crying the blues on Twitter when it's all over.
James, go ahead. You got a question, brother? Go ahead.
Obviously hard to answer, but if we're at a loss, should we just take our losses on AMC and then do the ape arbitrage to fix the bag? Is that the bottom line?
That's something you got to decide. I did it already. I didn't get through the arbitrage because ape ran to $1.90 and it was worth getting out. But there's risk on both sides of it. And I'm not telling you what to do, but my plan worked. And it's still working because now I'm not taking any losses on AMC or APE, but I'm in line to get ready to play the volatility that's coming to make a bunch of money off of it. If I was in AMC right now, this is me, it's not financial advice. If I was stuck in AMC right now and I had a $25 cost average, I would be selling it all and I would be buying APE and I would wait for the conversion vote. If APE ran to 250, I would sell. And then post conversion, I would look at buying AMC calls if AMC was under $3. I would not be holding a $30 cost average on AMC through a conversion and a 10-to-1 reverse split. Absolutely not. That's just me though. You guys got to do what's right for you. If you say this, if you're at an AMC like $10 cost average, then there's a chance holding AMC will put you back in the money post conversion. That's also a risk you're going to take though. You might be able to get out if it runs back to $10 in the shorts cover and it runs back to $10. So that's just what I would do, guys.
Yeah, it's right now we are at a situation, man, where you have to think about everything. And, whatever you do what's best for you. Like, Spence was saying or anybody saying. But if it makes sense to you, then, do it. Do what can fix your bags or what can make you money. Just do that. Don't worry about anybody at this moment. No, I have a lot of respect for retail community too. But at the end of the day, I have done my part of buying and holding for the longest time. And, I sold 4 months ago when AMC, and I wish a lot more people did, but, people were like, it's just sad what it has come down to. I never thought it will come down to this, where we are today.
Here's another scenario. If you're scared because you think Pedro's scenario is going to come out to be the truth, where AMC runs to $20 like on the conversion news because they want the arbitrage gap to be huge, like maybe shorts cover at $5 and the thing runs to $40 on the arbitrage vote news and ape is at $2, right? Well, if you are scared of missing that run because you sold your AMC to get into APE, right? You can sell your AMC to get into APE, but you can buy some cheaper AMC call options for $6-7 out for 60 days. So if it does run to $60, you get a trades play, and you made a bunch of money on your AMC call options that valued up 3,000% or whatever. You cash out, and then your APE gets converted and you make even more money on it. So there's ways to play AMC running and APE conversion at the same time without sitting and risking being an AMC bag holder till the end of time. Like me, I'm probably, if I see AMC under 530 tomorrow, if we see $5 on Friday, which I think max pain is 550, if I see $5 on Friday AMC, I'm going to buy calls for 550 or $6 out for another 60 days. And if I see AMC move like crazy, or even to $7, I'll take more profit. If APE drops to $1.50, I'm going to buy more APE and I'll wait for the conversion again, or for APE to rise. But I'm going to be playing all sides all at once. And you can't play a play like this. You can't do this and walk away from your screen or walk away from your phone or your computer and expect to have a 5-hour picnic in the park with your dog and then miss the run and come back and bag hold again. This is money being traded live during a volatile event. You've got to have access to your stuff to be able to trade it properly. You got to be on your toes. Drink way too much coffee like I do and tweet 5,000 times a day until people mute you.
Yeah, another thing too is I know a lot of people are afraid to sell at a loss. When I trade, I kind of just think of an annual basis, and I sold some AMC at a loss last year for tax reasons, and then I'm even carrying some over because I think it's only 3,000 you can write off. But don't get stuck in just thinking you always have to get your money back in a certain stock. Don't be afraid to look annually and look at other options. To play. Because what's stopping you if you sell some AMC now and then it starts to run when it goes down to 5 or whatever, you can buy back in. So don't think that you're just stuck. Taking losses aren't bad, especially hopefully we're going to get back into a bull run soon. It'll be nice to have write-offs against your losses. If you're holding long-term shares, just be cautious of losing that if you sell, but don't just get stuck in I can't ever lose money in a stock, because you always lose money in a stock. Hopefully you make more than you lose, because nothing's always guaranteed.
T, what's really messed up is a lot of people, I understand why people are so scared, because people have their cost average like $25-30. And just imagine if you sell now, it's like, man, it's like $25,000 loss if you have 1,000 shares.
Yeah, you just can't look like, at least I don't, because otherwise you'll go crazy with there's like last year. I mean, I was down a ton last year in my overall portfolio, but I'm up over 12% this year in my portfolios. Actually, more than I add them together. But I'm over 10% in the first month. So that's how I don't go crazy. There's going to be bad years. And look at, trade like a hedge fund. I know people hate them, but when they have a bad year, then say they lose 60% one year, and they come back and make 40% the next year. Do you think they talk about 2 years ago? You just have to go forward a lot. Don't get stuck going backwards. And if you make money in other stocks, there are advantages to selling some at a loss. If they are bag holders that you're stuck in for years, there's tax advantages for selling at a loss. So just don't get. I don't even look at my cost of average anymore unless I'm selling it for tax averages. Like, the only thing that you should really be cautious of, though, is we've held AMC so long. It's hard letting go of some of mine because it was over a year old, and then you have that long-term capital gains sales advantage when you hold it over a year. But other than that, don't get caught up in just thinking I've got to hold this stock forever. I mean, I've been in and out of AMC this year and APE, and holding 80-20 with APE right now, but I've been in and out of it. I haven't just parked it.
It's, and that's the thing, man. If you don't, just choice is yours, man. If you don't want to do anything, don't do it. If you think maybe in a year or 2 years you will get your money back, rather than taking that losses, that's your choice too. Whatever you do, man, do best for you. But just even taking a loss and losing money, man, all this, man, I hate this snake CEO, man. Miss Harris, go ahead before I start. Go out of my rocker.
Good question, Spence. Do you think the protest will help the AMC money movement? That's what someone's asking. Do you think, Spence?
It's not an AMC. If you're in an AMC money movement, that's the only time I've heard of that. The protest will help AMC retail shareholders in the form of market fairness and awareness. But this protest is not going to make AMC go up $30. This is just not going to happen. But I fully support the protest. I think it's one of the best things that's happened in a long time.
Okay. Second one is I have to read this one to you. It says, this is from Joey Boone. This is exactly how he said it. $12.59 AMC and $6.25 per ape. Safest way to make my money back. He's asking a question. Then he says, I have 5,000 to play with. He needs your help.
So I'm not telling him what to do because that's financial advice. I can tell him what I would do if I was in my situation. In that situation, if that was me, I would be putting all my money in on ape and lowering my cost average as low as possible, as efficiently as possible, then waiting for the conversion news, right? Because ape, if it arbitrages up for you, you're going to lower your cost average significantly against your AMC. Me personally, I would sell all my AMC. I would take that 5,000 in cash in the AMC money, and I would buy nothing but ape. I would wait for the arbitrage, and I would sit patiently and listen for the vote. If the vote's announced, ape's probably going to spike. If the vote passes, ape's probably going to go to like 250. If it does, and AMC is still at $6, I would sell my ape right there. I would wait for the conversion to happen. And if the reverse split was further down the road, I would probably buy AMC calls. But I would not be holding, I personally would not hold AMC shares through this conversion if my cost average was higher than $10. And if, again, you're scared because you think Pedro's scenario is going to happen where AMC runs to like 30, $40 or whatever before the conversion happens, I would sell all my AMC shares. I would buy all ape, and then I would buy some AMC calls for like $7 out for like 6 months or something like that. So you're covered if AMC runs and you're covered if ape runs. But I will tell you this, if the vote doesn't pass to convert the ape shares are probably going to collapse. Now, the chances of that vote not passing, in my opinion, are pretty rare because you have all these short sellers who are long on ape and short on AMC. They want that conversion money and they want those new AMC shares. And let me ask everybody this. Pedro's a very smart guy. I'm not saying a scenario is not going to happen. But if AMC ran like crazy before the conversion happened, then the shorts would be getting pinched like crazy and retail would be making money. Now, do you think they're going to let us make money off of AMC before this conversion happens? That's my question for you.
Hey, want to hear something refreshing?
No, I want to be angry and brood and soul.
Well, you are.
What's
All
up,
right.
man?
So, as we know, HLBZ took a hit when the false rumor was flying around that they were selling shares, right? CEO comes out and blasts that rumor, throws it away. It's back to 32 cents again, right back to where it was at before it fake dumped. So it's kind of cool that the truth actually works in the market sometimes.
Yep. I was going to buy some. We were just talking, and I was going to buy some more shares down there, and I got on a space call, and I missed my opportunity.
I thought about it too, and it dropped back down, but I was like, because it's their money we're playing with now. But yeah, but it's just kind of cool to see it go. And I like Salvador, however you pronounce his last name. I like it that he's standing up for the stock.
Watch for 36 cents tomorrow, man. If it hits 36 and recaptures that floor, that's really good.
It's still going up. It's 32. It's over 32 cents now.
Is there ever a scenario where they gamma squeeze to try and get everyone out of AMC before an actual squeeze happens? Or is that just completely off the table?
I mean, it's not 100% yay or nay for it, but I highly doubt it because we had an opportunity to do that last week because there was like $5.50, $6, and $6.50 calls that were all nailed in the money. and then they drug the stock below 550 on Jay Powell's COVID. Remember when the market took a dump because Jay Powell reported he had COVID? They've done 5 things in the past 2 weeks to force the market to dump. This week it was the NYSE dumping all the orders and saying they had a glitch. They're going to do everything they can do in their power to not let this squeeze. Everything.
Yeah, and like how I play it, you always think of risk and rewards. It's almost like gambling. If anyone plays Hold'em, it's all about risk and reward and the hand you have. And that's why, like, I didn't go all in one way or the other. I'm 80-20. I'm 80% AMC because, like Spence says, I'm pretty confident that vote's going through because of the shares of Tzero and all that's happened. But 20% of me still thinks this thing is explosive, like Pedro says, and I kind of hedge that side and just keep some of the AMC, there. I was watching go down today, but I'm not 100% either way or the other. I'm kind of hedging my bet a little bit per se. And then some people do that with calls and puts as well. That's an option you do too.
If this wouldn't have been Adam Aaron doing what he was doing, if this was just a battle against the shorts and the market makers and hedge funds, and Adam Aaron would have just done the popcorn and get the movies back together and not dilute us and then force ape on us and then sell to the short sellers, I would have held to Tzero if I was fighting a market maker or a short seller. But when the CEO started coming after my money too, I was like, this isn't it. This dude is taking our money. He's helping the shorts. This is an impossible battle for me to win. And I went off and made some other plays, and I made my money back on Ape, and I made some money on AMC calls, and I plan to do more AMC calls in the future. Or if I see Ape at $1.50, I'll buy more. But I'm not going to count on Adam Aaron anymore. I think he's completely robbed us.
Miss Harris, go ahead, please.
Okay, these are 3. I'm gonna add them all together because the same. If different people asking, or they add them to what the person's asking. Okay, the first person is Young Macho Savage. How do we vote AA out? The channel owner says, good question. And KJW says, is it too late to vote him out? Spence.
When the annual meeting comes up, if he's up for vote, you can request to have him be removed or request a new CEO or nominate a new CEO. But there'll be a vote in June, and people will have to vote for Adam Aaron as CEO chairman. If you don't want him there, you vote no. But if you don't get your proxy material from your broker, then you can't vote. You got to make sure you get your proxy.
Okay, then someone said, what happened to Wes Christian suing Adam?
He's working with CEO Block right now. We requested that Adam Aaron hire Share Intel and use West Christian services. We wrote like probably 1,000 letters, and then our friend Jack down there listening asked Adam Aaron in person if he would do that. He said no. We got no response from any of the letters from the AMC board of directors, which is a spit in the face. And then West Christian moved on with these other CEOs and these other companies who are now actively using Share Intel, and they're out there getting ready to do the protest tomorrow. So.
Miss Harris.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, can I?
So, regarding, changing the CEO and stuff, he's going to retire. It'll probably be this year, end of the year and all that. He's trying to raise whatever money he can, so he can get whatever debt paid off. And, he'll do whatever is best for his company. And he will retire probably this year. I mean, the man is almost 70 years old. So if people think getting him out now will change anything, I don't know how much it will change, but he's already made his money. I mean, even if he gets out of office, I don't know, man. This whole thing is just crazy. What I came here for is not this. If I would have known all this like even a year ago, I would have gone.
Hey guys. So one scenario that I haven't really heard yet is, Well, it's nice to think that the stock's going to shoot up to $100, $200 on a reverse split. The dilution's coming first, right? So he's going to convert APE, right, which might take the share count up to like 1.4 to 1.5 billion outstanding shares, which is going to massively dilute AMC, right? So AMC could be trading at like $1 once he does that. And
Absolutely.
so the reason it could be under $1, which is maybe why he has the reverse split in mind, right? And why Tzero wants him to do the reverse split, because it is going to massively dilute. So if it's trading under $1, he's going to reverse split. And if that's the case, like the share price might be $10. The way that people who bought, you know, in the 20s, 30s, 40s get fucked is because your cost average is going to 10x. So if you bought in the 20s, your cost average is going to be $200 a share on a $10 stock. So that's how you become like, I mean, it literally just blows retail out of the water. Like, so while it's nice to think that it's going to be trading at $10 and boom, it's going to reverse split and be 100, the chances of that I mean, just go look at any reverse split in history. The chances of that are pretty slim, because the amount of dilution that it's going to take to convert APE, it's massive. It's massive. And like the stock will be lucky if it's trading at $1. So you'll be lucky if it's trading at 10 when it reverse splits. So you have to think about that. Like these, like, you know, dreamland scenarios where it's going to be trading at 50, 60, 70, 80, you know, $100. It's just not realistic. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to tell the truth here, because people have already been so hurt by this. I'm just trying to give you like a more likely scenario of what's going to happen.
That's if the reverse split comes directly after the dilution. Like,
well, it will. He has.
I absolutely agree with you.
I mean, the conversion has to come first, right? Because
right,
that's the way he gets rid of APE. So the conversion is going to come first. So the massive dilution is going to come before the reverse split.
I totally agree with you. I'm thinking that's definitely going to happen, which is why I told everybody the other day. I said, what if they take it down to 250 and then Tzero wants it at 90 and now they have 300 million shares to short? Even that scenario. But the key is if Adam Aaron, if this goes through, the dilution will come first. But if the reverse split is immediately after, then yeah, you're looking at maybe $10, $9 a share. If they wait 2 weeks,
10x. I mean, your cost average 10x's, right? So if you bought it $25, that means your cost average is going to be $250 a share on a $10 stock that is going to get diluted down to, I mean, it's going to get shorted down to where it is now, if not worse.
Yeah, and the other scenario is it goes to $2 or $1 or 90 cents, and then they wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks to reverse split, and some shorts are in there and go, you know, we just made all this money on APE. We're long AMC. Let's cover our short position at 90 cents or less or whatever. They make in the money short play. Their AMC shares come up to $10, $15 a share. Adam Aaron announces a reverse split. They reverse split. They take their shares and they either sell and profit, or they short them back down and take AMC back down to $5 again. And then, like you said, making people 10x bag holders, like 50 shades of bags.
Yeah, and if he doesn't do the reverse split soon after the conversion, I mean, we want to talk about shares. I mean, shorts. Like, I mean, I think they're already going to be able to get out just with what Tzero is holding, but I mean, they'll be having a heyday. And you know, there's just no way to sugarcoat a reverse split. There's just not. Like, it's no matter what anybody says, it's not a good thing. It's not.
So let me ask you. What can be there got to be something good. Like, can we see like if there's any possible good scenarios, because man, they are doing these calls, man. I get, I'm started to getting depressed when I hear these things. Like, no good
Look,
scenario.
reverse splits are they are a last resort for a reason. No company wants to reverse split because you blow out your minority shareholders when you do a reverse split. So no company wants to, like, no one's like, well, I can't wait to do this reverse split. It's a last resort for maintaining your listing requirement of being above $1, right? Or, you know, if you're in deficient or whatever, but it's literally the last resort. Mullen just said today, right? Like, we're not going to reverse split. They got it approved, but they're not going to do it. That was the first thing that they announced today because they want to try to get this back over $1 before March or whatever the deadline is, and they're going to apply for a 180-day extension, whatever it takes to not reverse split this stock.
And so did Hellbiz and GNS and every other company in the world.
Nobody,
AMC.
Yeah, it's literally the option of last resort, and you know, the only reason Adam he had to do this to get Antera to take the deal. It was the only way.
Miss Harris, go ahead, please.
Okay, this is from Danny. She's saying Spence. Oh wow. He said, if they're going to short it down, then why are you saying buy call 60 days out? 60 days out. If they're going to short it down, why are you saying buy call 60 days out?
If we convert and say it goes to 250 and then they decide to short it down to $1 because they got new shares, I'm going to buy calls just above the strike because they're going to cover down there. And when they do, the stock price is going to go to what me and Amy were talking about, you know, like 7 to 10 or something like that. So if I buy a $253 call on AMC when it's at 90 cents and 30 days later it runs to 7, I'm massively in the money, and I'm going to sell that call and take my money and wait for the reverse split. That's in that scenario. Now, if the reverse split hits at the exact same time as the conversion, like there's no time in between, then I'm going to buy puts on AMC on the way down when they reshort it, and then Adam Aaron does his dilution. And that's how I'm going to make, not that I didn't already make my money back, but I'm not going to sit and let these hedge funds just take the money out of the play that they tried to take from me or Adam Aaron. So, I mean, if you're going to just sit and hold AMC, you are guaranteed to be a bag holder anyways. So, but that's why you buy the call, is why I would anyways. If I see it at $2, I'm going to buy a $253 call for probably 3 to 6 months out. I'm going to wait for AMC to run back to $7 and sell it, and then use that free money to play the downside when the reverse split hits.
T, go ahead.
So, hey, Shug.
Miss Harris, I'll be right back.
So, Shug, don't get depressed when you hear, like, a lot of the scenarios are probably not good for long.
Dude.
But this is a play. You're going to get crushed if you try to play one angle on this play. Like, if you're in it just to hold it, to short it, to whatever, you'll most likely get crushed because there's 10 different scenarios. You got like a 10% chance of getting it right. So, like Spence says, you have to know all the different options that could happen, or hopefully know most of them, and have which angle you're going to take when it happens, and be very ready to move to each way. And this is different than anything I've ever invested in. I mean, I've estimated on myself on earnings and calls and puts and things like that, but never where you've got like two different stocks that are merging, that there's short positions. There's just so much going on that you just kind of have to try to read the tea leaves as it's happening and get in the right position. It's crazy. I mean, one thing Adam Aaron did not lie is this definitely is, when it comes to trading, 4D chess. I mean, it's a very sophisticated play that can go many different options, and you have to be able to know how to buy a stock, short a stock, sell a stock, buy puts, buy calls, and that's the only way you'll get out of this thing. There's not just one direction to go.
In Adam Aaron's defense, I will say I've never said a bad word about him. I hate what he's doing, but in his defense, when you have a bunch of Kool-Aid drinking shareholders that say zero or to the moon, well, then you're going, well, wait, if you're willing to hold the zero, you're willing to let the company go bankrupt. So he's got to go, how do I raise money for my other investors that are in this play in the 401ks and stuff and make AMC last or whatever? But he can't just count on the 1,000 apes on Twitter that are screaming and throwing poo around the room to shoot this thing to $100 or, you know, that's it. So, I mean, he's doing what he's got to do, which is taking money from the shareholders at this point in time. But he knows that the guys who are not, the guys who are not trading the volatility on this or are playing with the moves are just going to be AMC bag holders forever. And there's nothing he can do about that. Now, could he have done any of our ideas and maybe they would have worked? Yeah, absolutely. But he took steps to go a certain way. And if AMC shareholders are not going to evolve with that, then you're just going to get stuck in it. So, I mean, in his defense on that part, yeah. Now, what he's doing, I think, is super nasty and corrupt, and it's disgusting. But, I mean, at the same time, you're dealing with crane eaters. So, you know, what would you do?
Miss Harris, go ahead. Spence, Miss Harris, go ahead. But let me just give the answer to Spence for this. You know, in the defense of shareholders, you know, Spence, he would not have to say all those words, all the hopium, checkmate, pounds, this and that.
True.
Checkmate means the end. This is the end. We did that. The shorts are, you know, that we're going to take it like what people wanted. So if he would have not said that, then maybe people would have thought it otherwise. Maybe people could have sold at 27 and buy now ape at 60 cents, you know?
Maybe he was warning us. Maybe he did it the wrong way and was saying, checkmate, you guys need to get out of the play.
Miss Harris, go ahead, please.
Okay, this is for Spence from Bill Ferguson. He says, if they could short it down that much, why haven't they just shorted it under $1? $1 yet? Question mark. If they could short it down that much, why haven't they shut it down under $1 yet?
Because there are some retail who are not selling, and it's there. That means something when they get it down this low. There are people who are, you know, continuing to hold it. There are shares locked up, you know, and that's just what it is.
Do you want to short the stock at $6 at 100% cost to borrow, or do you want to short it at $2.50 at a 20% cost to borrow?
That's what I was going to say.
But look,
once
I'll
the
also
conversion
say that
hits,
I think the only people left are the ones, you know, the bag holders. Really, is all that's left.
And it's hard to find shares. I think it's Tzero again today. So I mean,
wait till they convert. There will be 300-400 million new AMC shares out there that Antara Capital.
300-400 million. What are you talking about? There's gonna be a whole hell of a lot more than that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, yeah, 800. You know, but that's if people sell. But for sure, we know Antara and the shorts have 300-400 million shares that they're profited on long.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So they can loan those out at 40% to short sellers who are in trouble, naked short, and they don't know it. And suddenly the stock's 90 cents. So Antara's AMC short position goes way in the money. The AMC shares they've lent out to shorts that they've already made 200% on the conversion, those come down, and then Antara starts to cover their shorts at 90 cents. And now the shorts they've loaned out get pinched. They get squeezed at 5 to 7. They flip those, and all of a sudden Antara's making a ton of money. Yeah. It's just so bad.
Plus, I mean, think about it. The shorts are controlling the stock in general. Why would you want to keep shorting it down to a delisting phase when you can let this all play out? And that's why another reason I think it might bump a little bit before a reverse squeeze, like Pedro was saying, is you'll get some of the shorts that are upside down or shorts that want to get out of AMC, they can, but then let it run up to $8-9 before the split. Then you reverse split it to $90 to $100. Then you short the heck out of it, and you make a ton of money again.
It's not going to go that high.
I don't think so either.
Well, let's just hope if it does. Let's just hope if it does.
I think it'll be $30-50 after reverse split. That's kind of what I think at the highest.
I think it's going to be $9 or $10.
If they reverse split right after conversion, probably $9 or $10. I think if they reverse split weeks later, in Antara and these other clowns start covering some of their shorts at like $1, $1.50, you'll see like a Revlon instance where it goes from like $1.70 to $9. If Adam Aaron reverse splits there, that's even worse for retail. That's even worse.
He's not going to wait that long because the market cap's going to be in the toilet. Like it's just he's not going to wait that long. It's gonna happen.
Well, he wouldn't. He'd have almost for market cap and listing reasons. He'd have almost a year. He could drag it out. I mean, he could be under $1 and under the market cap for a year and not worry about it for listing purposes.
If,
not going to do
if,
that.
if they send
It's
it,
in the contract with Antara that he has to do it, and they want their shares added back to the shelf 2 days before. Like they want to be ready. They want them on the shelf. From it's not going to be. It's not going. There's not going to be a large delay. If anything, there'll be a settlement delay, but I don't know. They can probably bypass that. I don't know. I would think that it's going to all happen at the same time. But
Antara wants to flip as quick as possible.
If it happens at the same time, that is going to be the biggest S show by the brokers in the world. It'll be worse than the COSM, however pronounce it. Their reverse split.
Yeah, but I think he's gonna have additional shares besides just the 8, right? Like he's gonna ask for more than that.
Well, you weren't on. Amy Pedro was saying that he believes that all those 4 billion ape that are out there will be able, when he converts, he can convert those into possible AMC shares. No. That's what he was leaning to.
He's not gonna do that.
Well, if it's 4 billion on a 10-1, that's only 400 million though.
Those shares haven't been issued. You can't convert shares that haven't been issued. They're just sitting on a shelf. Plus, he wants to keep APE. He'll probably issue it again.
Yeah, he'll use APE to issue again and start this whole process over if he has to.
Well, good, because that dividend.
Ms. Harris, go ahead, please.
Okay, I have 2 questions. This is for Spence. They're talking to Spence. So I'm going to give you the first one. He says, Spence. This is from Jeff M. He says, Spence, you sound knowledgeable and not asking to be a D, but just curious. What are your credentials or background?
So I've got an associate's in business management. I've got a bachelor's degree, bachelor's of science in aviation business administration, which was heavily based on accounting, logistics, and all kinds of stuff like that you would need in that industry. And then I have over 10 years of trading, started in 2008 in the crash while I was in Iraq. And I worked for the DOD for 9 years. So I've done accounting, I've done balance sheets, I've done analysis and stuff like that. I'm not saying I'm a professional by any means, obviously not. But yeah, I think that's it. I got information. I've got NSA security information assurance certificates and stuff like that, and held a security clearance. The last job I did, I built a helicopter for the president when I was in Huntsville before I quit the DOD. So,
okay, he wasn't trying to be smart. He was just saying you were very knowledgeable.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so this is another. This is from. Oh wow. Oh wow. Eat me. Oh wow.
Don't worry about people like that, Miss Harris. You will always get people like that. Ignore the ignorant people.
That's a good question. He's asking a good question about your call options. It says your call options is going to have to be converted also after
They will adjust. They'll split adjust.
Yep.
Miss Harris, can you? I gotta give Al a chance. Al, how are you? He was. Just give me a chance. Let me get Al on the speaker because he was here the other day also, but he didn't get a chance. He had to go. I'm gonna give him a chance to speak. Al, how are you, man?
Hey guys, what's going on?
Good. How are you, brother?
Pretty good. A lot of interesting stuff going on with this stock and others. This trading halt that we had yesterday is very telling. If you guys were paying attention, we had over 100 different stocks that more or less told anyone paying attention, these are the stocks that are just absolutely so over levered with hedge funds that they can't even afford to move it in any way, shape, or form, because any real rapid upward movement will categorically cause a cascading effect across the entire market space. And whatever, I don't know what Vanguard or BlackRock. I think it's BlackRock personally, because they're the ones that are much more levered than anybody else. But whatever they sold, and that required them to do a halt of that magnitude, it tells you everything. It tells you that the entire market is susceptible and is in systemic risk territory. My friends over at Goldman, who have I can't say their names, and they've been really good to me for the last 2 years. They're telling me that at any day the axe could fall on anybody, and at any moment, any department, any desk, whether it be fixed income, whether it be for it, whoever, whatever it may be, they could absolutely just get rid of everybody that day, because it's that bad. It's that bad on Wall Street, and I trust these guys. These are guys I went to school with, and I've been talking to them for the last 2 years about this stock, and they empathize, they understand, but they give me whatever information I can use. Morgan Stanley is the worst out of all of them. They're saying that Morgan is arguably the most levered up. JP Morgan immediately after that, then BofA, then everybody else from there on out. Systemic risk. That's the name of the game at this point. You don't go to that extent to do 130 halts, limit up, limit down halts, because the collateral requirements. I'm sorry, can you hold on a sec? Because of collateral, it's just an incredible turn of events, and we haven't really had to do anything. The market's doing it itself. You can only cheat the market so long, and because so many retail across so many different stocks, not just the meme stocks, have failed to capitulate, have failed to sell their stocks in fear, have chosen to hold on, has worried people, and you're going to see a systemic drop. You're going to see trading in general take a huge drop. No one's leaving, and it's not just us. It's not just an AMC thing or a GME thing. It's everybody. And what you're going to see is more of these trading halts until they figure out a way to lever down. And I don't see that happening. The way that I see this happening, and the way I described it in my video was, this is the first tremor before the big quake. This is the first tremor. Whatever they sold, whatever BlackRock sold, was a big blue chip stock that a lot of people held, that was, they used as collateral for something else. And that cascade was felt across so many different places, and expect more of it. We just don't know when the next tremor is going to be. Just sit back and relax and wait for the fireworks. But I'm enjoying the view, though. I'm not worried about it. I'm not going anywhere. I've staked my positions. I've got liquidity in the market. I'm just sitting by and hanging out, and until something good happens. I hope everyone's doing well.
Thank you, Al. What do you make of this tweet, Spence? Did you put that tweet? What do you guys make of this tweet?
Let me read it. Adam Aaron, just a couple minutes ago. Today we filed an SEC 8K that our lenders have extended a covenant waiver. Oh, hold on, Al's mic is giving feedback real quick. Extended a covenant waiver all the way to March 31st, 2024. That is a reflection of AMC's recovery being well underway. A vote of confidence in AMC by our banks that we
I can't
much
hear anyone.
welcome.
Is anyone speaking?
Yeah, Miss Harris, you might have to drop down and come back up.
It's got to be her phone.
Yeah, you got to drop. Okay.
So, a vote of confidence in AMC by our banks that we much welcome. Thank you, Citi, Goldman, and Credit Suisse. So, they just extended a debt covenant. Credit Suisse is giving AMC a 98-cent price target, and Adam Aaron is out there thanking Credit Suisse. That's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. These are all the banks that are short AMC that hold bonds that Adam Aaron, he's selling to short sellers, and then he comes out and thanks Credit Suisse for a 98-cent price target.
Well, they need to have that in the books. They need it for their own books. They need to extend us this money. You know what I mean? This time frame, this covenant waiver. They need as much money coming in the next couple of years, just to at least give a modicum of confidence to whoever their leaders are. I don't think Adam Aaron was the one responsible for this. I think it's because they're all in a sticky situation where they have to. Not because they wanted to, they had to do it.
It would have been best for Adam Aaron to get the credit card and the popcorn out, not touch Ape, and just let AMC stock sit there. And people would have been comfortable with the play. They would have known it was the same. He changed the play. If he would have kept AMC the way it was, did the popcorn, did the credit card, got the movies going. We had a great Q4, incoming. I would have stayed on my AMC position. But this ape thing, he did it without our permission, and now it's bailing out the short sellers, which is going to come in the conversion and the reverse split. We could have just sat here, and everything Al said, I agree with. We could have just sat here, and the axe would have eventually fell because BlackRock is already laying people off. They announced they were laying off a ton of people the other day. So it's just, this is crazy.
Miss Harris, go ahead, please. Miss Harris?
This is for Spence. This is from Young Macho Savage. It says, do you have to pay extra to DRS your shares from Webull?
I think Webull charges $75, I think. Last I heard. But if you have AMC shares right now coming into conversion, I love DRS. I still have, I keep lying. I do still have some AMC shares in DRS because I got it on a purchase thing I got to cancel, but it's not many. But I've been racking up a bunch of NCMI because I think when this is all over and the theaters come out of bankruptcy, NCMI comes back to $3 and they reopen their dividends. But I probably wouldn't be DRS and AMC shares right now personally. The movement work that we did, the push we did work. The stock went to 910, and then Adam Aaron came out and destroyed it again. And the community fudded it out, like Cat Strikers and all the anti-DRS people, like Ape Radio. They came out and fudded it and ended the DRS movement once again. So
that thing is done, man. You can do all you want now, but there was a chance we had back then.
But like Tesla, stuff like that, DRS is amazing. I love Computer Share. I think it's a great platform.
So I got a DM, Al. This is somebody's asking you, how are you playing Ape and AMC?
How am I playing in terms of the trade itself?
Yes, like what if like say right now, how are you playing? Like
I'm actually waiting until the end of Q1. I'm looking and seeing what was the take. I'm also going to listen to see if there's any new agreements. If, in other words, we know about what happened with Antara, great, but he has money. He's sitting over a billion. I want to see what other alliances he's built. I'm waiting on that. If there isn't, I'm going to just assume that Ape is going to run at one point. It's set to, and then it runs and we make money on that. I don't know how high it's going to go. Presumably between 50 and 75 is what conservative numbers are for me, and that's because I've consulted with a bunch of tech guys that do the analysis that are very, very I don't know. I would say that they're not bullish guys, but they're realists, if you will, and that's what I give it. But if we have a runaway train situation, I'm gonna hold shit. I'll hold until such time. I think we're all looking for real life-changing money, and the only way to do that is for us to hold. I'm also of the belief that Citadel itself, the walls are caving in for them. I think the fact that the whole thing with NWBO, and I think there's other lawsuits that are going to be pending here, especially with that CEO block thing that's coming up. They're on the radar, and it's bad. It's bad for them, and it's just a matter of time until we start seeing another company slap on another lawsuit, and it's feasible that all this bad press could force them, just because they don't want any more eyes on themselves, to start covering some shares and letting the stock actually run up to a significant amount of money, maybe $70, $100, and hope, hey, let's just keep it at there and see how many people will leave. I think that has a chance of happening, but of course, anything above $20 and Morgan Stanley is gonna have a fit, and we know that for a fact. But I'm more or less sitting back and just waiting for announcements and waiting for news. I'm scouring all the SEC documents, all the websites for any potential ways this thing could be a catalyst. But I haven't set a really solid strategy yet because you can't really when you think about it. There is no sound strategy at this moment because there's so much stuff floating around that could potentially happen, and we have to wait for news. Unless somebody can leak something, I don't know how this would go. I know it's not a lot of help. It's just I'm just being pragmatic, being realistic. So
I got another question. There are two scenarios, good and bad, going forward. Two scenarios after conversion and before reverse split and after reverse split. Good and bad. What will it be? Were like two scenarios for you according to you. One before split and one after split. Good and bad both. Man, people are sending questions like.
I really don't understand what the question is, though.
he's asking question like before. They want to know the good scenario and the bad scenario before the split and after the split.
If we that depends on the vote, right? I'm pretty adamant about how I feel, and I've made it very vocalized in the community. I think it's a bad idea. We never should have done that. But if we come to the position where there's a split vote, all right, we gotta a no on the conversion to APE. That would be our best bet. That would be our best bet because it buys time for us to see if APE popcorn will sell, to see if new movies are going to drive up the price. Remember, when you think back to the fundamentals of this business, right? What is it? Honestly, it's a affordable luxury that people like. The weather's gotten better. A lot of the COVID stuff is gone. The movies are back, and I mean, it really is fundamentally turning around as a company itself. We have sources of revenue coming in. I think the conversion to APE would be even worse. I mean, you've already sold an egregious amount of shares for pennies to the dollar, which I mean, to this day, right now, it makes me crazy when I think about it. But if it doesn't get converted, I could forgive Adam Aaron. I could forgive him. If it doesn't get converted, I could forgive him and leave this as is, and we can get back to business. But the conversion is really the big thing,
That's the question is like after conversion, there are two. Give us the good
after
scenario.
Conversion. You got to understand. Your stock has lost a lot of fuel. Your stock has lost a lot of fuel. That's not a good thing. The shorts are going to be able to cover a lot of shares with that, and I don't know who thought that was a good idea. I don't. I mean, that's just the idea of that is just to this day it baffles me. I ran this by a couple of my. So when I have conflict, if I have a deep conflict of what's going on, what I do is I call my professors at school. I say, hey, this is my situation. This is what happened. This is what he did. Every one of the guys that I've spoken to, and one female rather, I says, that doesn't make any sense. And that kind of goes along with what Pedro had said. Something's not right about this transaction. Something's not right about this trade. He's looking for cash right now because he doesn't have it. Why is he doing this? And that always that was a definitive thing in my mind that he had done something or something happened where he needed money right then and there, and he sold some of it to Antara. I'll never know what it is. I don't think any of us will ever know. But he needed that money right then and there, and he did what he did. All right.
I think it was for Regal, dude.
What's that?
I think it's because he wanted to buy those Regal locations, and he got rug pulled on it, and that's when he decided.
That's what. So we had a guy work at a law firm who was doing the transaction. I had known about the Regal deal for a while. I had known because they had signed a Chinese firewall within the agency itself, and one department couldn't talk to another department, and I had known about it. And that was the thing that I told everybody, something's going to happen. No, something's going to happen. It's going to be a transaction of some kind. Somebody leaked this beforehand. I don't know who. And they did something. I think it was Amazon. I think because Amazon's been buying left over right. They've been buying defunct movie theaters for a significant amount of time, and they're quietly converting it into Amazon Prime locations so they can have movies and have a different experience. Same kind. And Bezos is utilizing a new kind of technology that was fastened in Japan, and he's bringing to the U.S. It's like a different kind of projector, right? And when Bezos heard about it, or whoever heard about this was happening, they did something. They did something to fuck the transaction up. Forgive my language. And when that happened, there was the rug pull. The guys from Regal said, "Nah, I don't want to do it because this guy's offering us this." But then whoever was on the other side of the counterparty.
But Al,
what part did you guys hear? Did you guys hear chapter 7 or 11?
7.
Yeah. So that's what I think happened. He botched it up, or somebody botched it up. I really think there's an intelligence machine that Citadel or the funds are using to aggregate information and data, so they can try to thwart every effort that this company makes to raise money or whatever. One of the things I've been doing is watching commodities futures, especially corn, to seeing how it's behaving, because I have a funny feeling Citadel, one of the funds, is trying to mess around with it. And I saw some weird irregularities with corn. That's one can only assume is one of the funds messing around, and they're doing it in groups and teams. So I'm always worried. I'm always thinking about how many ways can this go wrong? How many ways can this get fucked up? How many ways can this guy screw the pooch? Now that that's a known thing. But, he doesn't listen. He doesn't listen to us. He I'm not going to bash the guy. I'm not here to bash him, but he has a set in his ways, and he wants to do things his way. That's fine with me. It's his company. He knows better than me, of course. And, I'll tell you, he hasn't impressed me in a long time. He has not impressed me in a long time. His methodology's fucked up, and he simply doesn't do the right thing.
interestingly enough, Al,
He's being too polite, man.
your boy Patrick Byrne is going to be on a space call. I pinned it to the top tonight at 8 p.m.
I'm aware.
He knows. He tweeted. I saw his tweet. I'm gonna go up. We're gonna when he starts their call. I'm gonna
go up there and look at Amy's meme that she put up too. There.
Do you want to know what he's going to talk about? I'll tell you.
The goddamn Jets.
Tell us.
He's going to make an announcement in the next couple of weeks, and he's going to just give you an idea. And maybe he'll drop it tonight. I don't know. But basically, Patrick is doing something huge, very similar to CEO Block. It's going to be massive. It's going to be global. It's not just going to be national. He's funded. He's financed. He's got lawyers. And he had asked me to work with him on it. And that's why haven't been making so many videos lately, because I've been going through the entire market structure, and I've outlined the entire system in a big presentation. And from the time the transactions start all the way down to settlement and clearance, I can give you 100% clarity and assurance that the entire fucking thing is rigged. I mean, the entire market itself is rigged. It's death by 1,000 cuts. That's the U.S. stock market. And it can't be unreasonable. No one can ever convince me otherwise, because I see the way the machine works, and I see how everybody's making money off retail, and it's death by 1,000 cuts. The brokers, the clearing firms, the DTCC, everybody is taking a piece out of retail's ass. And that is the fact. And if retail were to pull out, or there was a substantial drop in what was going on, the entire market itself would crumble. And there isn't enough money in the DTCC that could fix that. It simply cannot be fixed. The interloping and the interactions between politics and Wall Street, from what I've seen in the last 2 years, it's so saturated and it's so in-depth that these institutions have to be torn down and started from. I really mean that. Like, the entire market system has to be torn down and started from scratch again. I see no other way of doing this, because the corruption is so systemic that it simply can't be reasoned out with. It can't be. It's like this, right? It's like you just find out that you have leukemia, right? But they're able to treat the leukemia in certain isolated parts of your body, but you still have freaking leukemia. What you really need is a bone marrow transplant, and that way you produce your own antiviruses and all that other shit, and then you're good to go again. You're healthy again, right? You need a bone marrow transplant. It's the same thing when it comes to this market. You need to be rebuilt from the ground up. Something new has to come, and something that is going to be equitable, right? That's the key word, equitable for everybody. It certainly isn't that the case right now. It's corporate and Wall Street greed, the big banks. And until that gets recognized, until that is consumed and metabolized in the hearts of minds of Americans, they'll continue to get ripped off. And the fact that these pensions, I'm telling you right now, the way the market's going right now, there won't be pensions in like 5 years, 10 years. There just won't be, because the way they're scalping the markets, they're draining liquidity of the markets. It's just ridiculous. And it feels like it's almost like a Ponzi scheme, but I'm missing elements of it, and I can't prove. But that's all I have to say about that. But Patrick is going to be probably dropping that initiative very soon. He's going to expect all your help to do this. I don't think it's not like a fundraising thing. It's more or less about signing up and getting your support with your congressman. And we're setting up the guidelines. We're setting up the framework. So we're going to make it easier for you guys to automate your support. That's the big thing I pushed on the calls with these guys. We're going to make sure that if you sign up with this initiative, that you reach out to your congressmen, your senators, and so on and so forth in huge ways. And they want to hear from you. I think that's part of their job. They want to hear from you, their representatives. And we are going to hold them accountable, because now we have an avenue to. The thing about all these organizations, guys, is a lot of them, most of them, I would say, are undercapitalized. They don't have any money. They're just guys, starting websites and whatever. Patrick's got billions of. I share a vision with him, and God willing, we're able to have a measure of success with this. But the initiative itself is as legit as it gets. There are more lawyers than there are anything else. The lawyers are just, he's got tons of them that are looking into this thing. And I think good things are going to come out of it. And I think Patrick can be believed. He can be trusted. He doesn't have a mean bone in him. He's just a kind, warm-hearted human being. He's incredibly intellectual. I've had conversations with him on all kinds of stuff, not even market related, and I found him to be an intellectual, a very cerebral person, and that's the kind of guy that you want. And he's not like an evil genius type person, like an Elon or whatever. He's not like that. He's just a really cool libertarian guy. You do whatever you want to do, have fun, make something meaningful out of your life. That kind of guy. He'll help you if anything, but he doesn't stand for injustice. Like, he will not fucking tolerate it. He sees it, and you see that Irishman, you see that redhead Irishman just lose his shit, man. He hates injustice, and that's the kind of guy that you want fighting for you. That's the kind of guy you want leading an organization. So.
Yeah, I watched your interviews and few other times him speaking. Man, it feels like he cares about people, and he wants to bring change. So if something, people,
system.
People. Go ahead, El.
It's like this, right? Great things have small beginnings, right? Patrick had already gone through that learning lesson. He started great things from small things with Overstock, and then with Tzero and all these other institutions that he owns. And he is a charismatic person in the sense that he can not only get through to people, he can make your life quantifiably better, because he's figured it all out. Like when I said to you guys earlier, Patrick is a very cerebral person. I mean that. He has the resources and the means to do the investigating, to understand how things work, and get to the bottom of things. Because Wall Street can only convolute it to people like us, right? But when you have 4 or 5 lawyers that are seeking and reading all the bylaws and seeing how the guts work, you can't hide that shit. You can only hide for so long. They'll catch you eventually. And that's what Patrick's done. He's effectively figured out the system. And when we had the conversation, somebody's got to go on mute because there's like a car or something in the back. I could barely. Okay, thanks. And when Patrick and I had that one of our conversations, one of the big things we talked about was settlement, right? And the argument that was made was the United States of America has 4 SUVs sitting on Mars. That's where I got that line from, was from Patrick. The United States has 4 SUVs sitting on Mars right now. And the federal government and then the Wall Street bankers are telling us they don't have the technology for a clearance of T+0. That's absolute horseshit. They should be able to, at this moment in history, to do a trade, right? Let's say I sold Apple at 500 have the money ready for me without having to do any kind of nonsense, having liquidity back into our brokerage accounts immediately within seconds of the trade closing and settlement. The reason why they don't do that is because that's their ass. If they are caught vulnerable and everybody piles in and there's another GameStop type event, let me tell you, they're the ones that lose money. They're the ones that lose money. That's why the settlement thing, I know AMC's everyone's big thing, right? But since I've been started talking to Patrick, I realize it's not so much AMC or one particular stock, right? It's the entire system itself, the way it's structured. The way it's structured matters, right? Because it's the settlement system that's ultimately fucking us. I know it sounds very abstract the way I say it, the way it is, but the way it functions, it's actually the settlement system that's screwing us. And it's with that that settlement system they're able to get away with so much. And that's what I have to say.
That's what happened with Robinhood on January 27. Too many settlements piled up. They didn't have the liquidity to check it, so they had to go to FINRA. And before the market crashed, they took away the buy button, and FINRA waived their collateral requirement. That's kind of what happened also today or the other day with the NYSE.
Yeah, I was just on an MMTLP call just a few minutes ago, and we talked about how the cascading effect. I always tell people when somebody sells a blue chip stock, right? A big blue chip stock like Tesla or something with a huge market cap. Let's say somebody sold 500,000 shares of Tesla. That would reverberate across the entire market landscape in one way or another. And somebody will get margin call because they're using their Tesla as collateral for a bunch of other shares. And if those were collateral requirements and if they're teetering on the edge and it goes down, somebody's either going to have to come up with cash or let a stock run up. And that's it. There's no other alternatives. And like I said before, it's the first quake, it's the first tremor we've seen before before we see the big one, the big quake. These are indications. And the fact that they're very silent about it, there haven't been any public announcements. They're trying to cover this thing up. They're trying to figure out ways so they can lie their way out of it, try to figure things out. There's no need to even try to lie out of it. Everybody knows what happened. Everyone can read the charts. The fact that we had those glitches like we had in 2020 when 2021 when we first saw when AMC was running to after hours 256,000 and somebody would take a screen capture of it. Somebody captured AMC the other day at 100,000 to 50,000, and I'm saying to myself, it's like people still don't understand that this thing is pushed down. It's like a beach ball into the Marianas Trench. If you take a beach ball in the lowest point in the earth, which is the Marianas Trench in the ocean, and you push it all the way up there, and all of a sudden you let the thing pop, right? It goes through the roof, goes through the water with such speed and velocity that it captures like a radar signature at 250,000 feet or whatever, some rarefied atmosphere. And then it comes crashing, come back down because they have the programs all set up that way. That tells you enough. That tells you everything. That's how much. I think your talk about Tesla, using that as an example, I'm pretty confident that a lot of shorts just went in even deeper on Tesla and are trapped in there. And Tesla's about to blow the whole market apart. And it's funny that they got Musk in at the SEC at this point in time while this is going on, because they just got creamed today. I'll tell you that right now. Definitely fishy going on. And I'm sure the SEC is involved in it. I'm sure they're trying to mitigate this thing. I'm pretty sure that somewhere along the line, something is going to happen with either him, the person, whether it be some kind of scandal or something fucked up. And he's not going to get. You seen his security today? I saw two. So that guy on the right, the guy with the dark hair on the face and the beard and everything else. If you have a team guy, that's a member of SEAL Team 10. If that guy is your security, that means you're fucking in trouble. That means someone's trying to off you. That's what that means. Oh yeah, that's what that means. That guy's a member of SEAL Team 10. You can look at his photo. You can take his photo, right? You can pause the actual video. Take that guy's full frontal face. Just take a quick snapshot of it. Put it into the AI and say, find this person, and you'll find a member of what's called Navy Special Warfare Development Group 10. And there's a photo of him without the beard. It's just that easy. So when you have Navy SEALs guarding you, it's because you're fucking scared. And you have every reason to be. You have absolutely every reason to be. Something's going to happen. I'm telling you right now, whether it's going to be somebody that's going to either cry sexual harassment, they're going to find something on him, like, oh, he's part of the pedophile ring or something, and people are going to lose confidence in him, and they're going to try to take it out through like one way they could do it potentially is through the space program that he's got. So he's got a pretty extensive contracting network with the U.S. government, how they're doing satellite deployments and stuff like that. But the PMs, the SESs, the senior executive services that are in NASA, who's kind of the contract holders, they're going to probably go to them and they're going to figure something out. They're going to do something. They're going to push a button, and Tesla's going to either lose a contract or they're going to find him unfit to stand as the CEO of that company. And SpaceX is going to just, you know what I mean? They're going to do something.
And they're up 4% after hours, and I bought calls today for 140 when the stock was 138 out for 30 days. And when it got to 146, which I called as the first resistance, effing New York, Wall Street Journal dumps a FUD article out on the market saying that he's going to sell shares for $3.5 billion. So I'm like, oh crap, well I better cash out, right? Well, then it comes out a minute later, Elon Musk goes, yeah, no, I'm not selling shares.
Yeah.
So then it comes, it dips, earnings call. Now it's up 151. So because the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal posted a FUD article, they cost people money, and it was a lie. It was a short and distort lie to try to restrict the stock. Now Elon supposedly has just procured $3.5 billion in funding from a loan from like Citi or something. I just read in a tweet. I got to go back and look, but now the stock's up 5% after hours, and I got out too early because Wall Street Journal is printing FUD articles.
Yeah, I don't believe anything the media says. So one of the things, I have a new rule. I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I have it taped to my trade station. It's, what are you reading? Who's the people publishing it? And apply critical thinking on this. For every article I read, right? I know for a fact that those are surgical strikes, right? Those are people paying for articles that get published because somebody gets paid off to do so. And it's highly effective because it comes from a credible news agency, right? But at the end of the day, if somebody has a position in that company, if it's publicly traded, yeah, they can lever that relationship and do stuff like that. It's just part of the part and parcel. So I tried to keep myself aware of that. Try not to be reactionary. I asked myself the question, hey, how many ways can this go wrong and this go right? And how many ways, I'm sorry, not how many ways, but and who's benefiting most from this thing? Who stands to make the most out of this article? And that's eventually who you'll find is the progenitor rather, of that article. It might come through the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, whoever, but the progenitors are probably a hedge fund. I'm absolutely positive on that. So it's like, I don't even read the news anymore. I mean, I read the international stuff. Even that lately has been kind of fuddy. Like stuff that's going on in Ukraine that I know simply isn't happening because I have the clearance for it and I still do consulting for the Army. And it's like they're saying one thing and it's like, that's complete horseshit. And it makes me so fucking aggravated because I know it's not true, but they're getting the American people conditioned to be a certain way. And there's nothing I can do about it. So I can't obviously operate and say that's true. That's not true because, operational security mandates that you're not talking about those things. But the whole system, including the media, it's all one and the same. It's all one and the same. The media, the politics, and Wall Street, they're all one and the same animal. So you see why they call me Dark Cloud now? Because I bring a dark cloud.
Yep.
Into
I'll tell you, I'm definitely buying tomorrow. I'm buying Tesla calls out for a while. I'm buying
they'll make money.
I'm gonna do like 165 out for like 4 months or something.
Al, I got a question. If you will be in that call, can you ask Patrick Bunn a question on my behalf?
I'm staying out of this. So that's Patrick's initiative. I'm staying out until I have a contract or some kind of thing with him. I'm not going to. Okay. If he asks me to come up and join, I might. But I'm trying not to because I want to let Patrick take the reins on this thing. I'm a support guy anyway on this thing. I'm not so.
Okay. Yeah, I just got a question from somebody. That's why this if Al goes there, can he ask Patrick, what if Adam Aaron goes with T0 now? Can it help AMC and the shareholders?
Absolutely. Listen, you understand something. If T0 is implemented, like tomorrow, if we were able to do this, fuck yeah. Absolutely.
I would immediately go long AMC.
Yep. so Mark and all of us were always right for the last 18 months about T0.
Mark Cahotis is not wrong.
Yep. He never was. He never was
Listen,
wrong, man.
You can call and say whatever you want about Mark. A lot of people were wrong about him, including me. But Mark has proved himself time and time again. The old fucker knows what he's talking about. Listen, I'll tell you something. I told this to all my friends who I love, right? If there's an old guy in the room, listen to what he has to say because he's probably been there and done that a million times before then. He knows how to smell bullshit. The guy's a human bullshit detector. He called out SBF months before anyone else did. And then with the silver thing that's going on right now.
Silvergate, yeah.
I'm telling you right now, you can say whatever you want about Mark. You don't like his fucking face. You don't like his chickens, whatever. Mark's right. Mark's been right the entire time. If we were to get T0 tomorrow, we would have a short squeeze on our hand. And there's no way to get out of it. There's absolutely no way.
Yep.
There's no way.
Yeah.
No, and Adam Aaron could still raise money.
Oh my God, could you imagine? Because half of Wall Street would hear about it. The street would
he'd be able to pay off the debt.
Dude, let me tell you, an opportunity like that comes along, half the street will be on this. It'll be like, forgive my language, it'll just be the biggest train that you've ever seen being run on Citadel. People are going to rush in because it's going to break out in the news. Like everybody knows on Wall Street that Citadel and SIG and Wolverine and Simplex are all over levered on AMC and GME. So if somebody says to Wall Street, hey, they're doing T0 and they're getting another dividend, but it's a substantial one, it's going to be a couple $2 billion. That price is going to rip. And believe me, they're no longer friends. Remember, it's temporary alliances. It's never friendships on Wall Street. There's temporary alliances to take down big game. That's it. But let me tell you, Citadel, if they're found weak, mene take upsalam, that old expression of you've been weighed, measured, and found lacking, the entire Wall Street conglomerate, everybody will jump into AMC and GME, and that thing will rip. That's the biggest fear that they have, is that they're no longer perceived as strong. If they're perceived as weak, they're going to get a train run on them.
Al, in the last 18 months being on Twitter, I met some really good people. They became like good friends, like more like a family.
I've met assholes, but okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm saying not all of them, but if there is one person that I'm really proud to have met, that's Mark. And know him, his friendship, his guidance. Not only he saved me from losing a lot of money, he helped me and guiding me towards so I can make money.
Yeah.
That man has helped me more than anybody in the last 18 months, and I can't thank him enough. And I even I go into MMTLP community, but I never shared this idea because a lot of cloud chasers and grifters from AMC started going there so they can have more followers and more clout. So I didn't say even that. I said, maybe they will figure it on their own, but I wanted to share this T0 idea with them. And maybe, that because Mark is one person who's always willing to help everybody. He the only reason he came, he bought 60,000 shares at $38 with his own money. Yeah. Adam Aaron hasn't bought a single share with his money.
I'll tell you what, too. When this thing kicks off and T0 hits the way it's going to hit and the BSTX stands up, my YouTube channel on them early videos we did is going to get a lot of traffic. They're going to go back and watch those T0 videos with Mark, and everybody's going to be smacking their foreheads If this community, so-called ape community, would have centered around Tzero and got AMC securitized on Tzero 12 months ago, we would have went well over $100. No question in my mind. It would have been the biggest news story. It would have been all over Fox News for years. And Tzero would have looked like a rock star. And Adam Aaron could have raised billions of dollars doing it.
He can't lose us. So that's one of the big things that you got to understand. Adam Aaron cannot lose us. He can't afford to lose us, right? Because if he did, he'd be a case study. At the end of the day, he'd be a case study. In fact, I know for a fact that there are two guys over at HBS that are writing the case history, the case behind AMC and GME. And they're going to contact the old man. They're going to get his perspective on it. And they're going to do a case study. And he's going to be immortalized in that sense that he was able to take retail, a phenomena of retail and social media, to save his company, right? But they don't know what the rest of it is. They don't know the rest of the story, how he managed to almost fuck it up because he was being complacent. There's nothing worse than being because he's old. He's fucking old.
It's crazy because he had Mark right there ready to go to help him do this.
Cahoda's even called him. Yeah, he called him at the office.
Yeah. 16 months ago, Spence stock was at $43. Every day we used to try to do this, get through this. Every day, man. And I remember, I think Spence has recorded calls. There were there were short sellers, those who would come and they would say, if Adam even says that we are thinking about Tzero, they'll cover their shorts and they will go long on AMC.
And then the people who were against Tzero are now the same people against the protest. They tried to tell Al before we were talking that I was trying to dox Al, and I'm on his YouTube, following his YouTube, sending him likes, man.
It's the same people. Good.
So that's an interesting story, right? I didn't know Spence. I didn't know him. I just heard that there was an Army guy named Spencer out there, and I'm already ambivalent about the Army because you know how I am. So I'm a cocky prick, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, it's this guy named T. Spencer and whatnot," and Tara Bull said, "Hey, I know him. He's a friend of mine. Let me set up an introduction with you guys." And I got to know him. We started chatting, hit it off, same kinds of guys. And I knew he was straight up and legit right away. And that's when I realized, okay, the rest of these guys are either grifting, looking for attention, looking for validity, some kind of, like I don't know if they're bored, if they need some kind of self-esteem issues, that they want to feel important for a little while. Maybe they're trying to write a book or a screenplay. Everybody has a fucking agenda. My only agenda is $1 million a share. That's my agenda. I want to see this thing rip so hard that Ken Griffin never recovers. Groban doesn't recover. Nobody recovers. And guys like us, fucking street walking scum, fucking become billionaires. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want. Life-changing money, paradox-changing money. That's what we should be looking for.
The same people that went after Al went after Froggy Styles immediately because they knew if we all teamed up, our message would be strong.
They tried to destroy that kid's life,
And that's the thing. You can count these people on your fingers. It's the same people, those who are grifting off the community, those who are using people to fill their own pockets, whether it's billboards or whether it's their super chats or whether it's their snapbacks. It's the same bunch of people and the space called cloud chasers. Those who were against DRS, against Tzero, against the other dividends, against every single thing idea we came out. And they tried to go after everybody who wanted to make a difference and make shareholders money, including you, Spence, Froggy, Tara, Mark, all these people.
I'm telling you right now, none of them have a background in finance. You can ask a first-year business student or an MBA student or anybody who's taken even a simple community college fucking course in business. What are the simple basic things about business that you must learn as a year one, L1 guy? They won't know it. What they do is they regurgitate. They go to websites, they read it, they copy and paste it, and they just read it off. Like they know what they're talking about. They read it off, but conceptually, there's a huge difference between. It's like this, right? There's it's written and what's actually happening, what's actually applied. There's a huge difference between paper law and law. You know what I mean? There's a huge difference, huge spectrum of it. There's a lot of gray area. So when somebody reads off something and says, oh, they know what they're talking about, blah, 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 they have zero background in the finance community. You know, I've spent 2 years learning this shit and 15 years trading. And you know, it's like even I don't know all this shit about market structure expert. And it's like, you're wrong. You're just flat out wrong. Matt Kors comes out and says the SEC protest is the dumbest thing he has ever heard. And a day later, he tweets about how bad the NYSE and the SEC are. And I'm like, you are a freaking idiot, man.
And not only that, he was the one person who said that don't buy ape and all that stuff. Just imagine people. I bought ape at 66 cents. I bought ape at $1. I bought ape at 147. And I made so much money with ape, you know, swinging it and buying it. And these people and I said people like, look, I sold AMC and I have a lot of ape. And people were like, you are a shill, you are a sellout, we are buying whole. I'm like, dude, I buy and hold for 15 months. What did I get out of that? I have to make my money back. I was down a lot of money and I made every single dollar back, Al. I'm not, as of today, I'm not lost even one single dollar.
Good for you. And I understand it. I totally get it. One of the things, the reason why I don't go to these events, it's like everybody remembers after J6, right? So when J6 happened and they stormed the Capitol and whatnot, all the protocols for how these things are handled changed. It was no longer like the city of DC handling it, was DHS and the FBI, right? So I get a phone call a couple days ago from a buddy of mine who works at DHS, good friend of mine, a guy I served with, guy I trust. He's a Marine sniper. And he does Overwatch for DHS. He has that job as part of their TAC teams. He does tactical command. He does, you know, mount training and military style tactics in urban environment, right? And we were talking a few days ago, and we were saying to ourselves, "Yeah, there's going to be a thing there. There's going to be a thing in front of the SEC building." And he's like, "That's a bad idea." I was like, "Why is that?" Because you know the entire protocol has changed, right? The entire thing has changed. And he tells me, he goes on to tell me that they have these React teams, right? Basically, these React teams have mics. They go into these crowds and they listen to what the conversation is. And they look for people to say certain things. Then the other guys who are doing the surveillance, they're called surveillance and target acquisition teams. They'll take the photographs, and then you're part of a list. Now, they got a photograph of you, they have an audio file of you, and they put you in front of the FBI, the DOJ, and then they hand you off to those people for your punishment. Even communicating a threat of any kind, it's like fuck that. I'm not showing up. That's just asking for trouble. And if they send professional agitators into it, man, fuck, forget it. It's like one of these Antifa rallies. You know, they just show up out of the woodworks. They're not real shareholders, but they're there to agitate. And then Gary Gensler gets a pass. He gets some kind of, oh, poor Gary. It's like he got his building stormed because bad guys showed up, and they must be Trump people or whatever the thing is going to be. And Gary gets, you know, a little bit of a little bit of sympathy or whatever. I'm not going to put myself in that. I mean, that's just insane. That's like door kicker stuff, man. You want a door kicker coming to your house? I don't want that. I'm not doing that shit. But if they're bold enough to do it, hey, good on them. You know, good on them. Do it. Do it. Absolutely do it. Not for me though. I'm also pretty fucking lazy.
You should come more in the calls, man. I don't know why my calls. I don't let people come here and act tough on my calls. I fuck this shit up too. If people are respectful, I am respectful to them. But if they come or try to act and like one guy come today, Spence kicked him. He could have let me just spend 2 more minutes with him. He would have never come on this call again. But listen, you should come.
Listen, I appreciate it. Right, it's the same reason why you just said. It's like there's always going to be some asshole that's going to say something obnoxious, be rude, take his frustrations out on the group, and try to do the character assassinations and everything else. I'm not about that, man. I don't really like. I'll come in once in a blue moon if you or Spence, like Sugar, you sent me messages. I pop in when I can between work and whatnot. But it's like I find more meaningful work getting done when I'm behind a terminal, or I'm sitting there writing a draft, or writing an objective memo of what's going on in the markets, than because it's like we've said the same thing for the last 2 years, right? We told
Yep.
everybody. They know what's going on. It's almost as if like we did a disservice to them by telling them everything. But because there's so many people with egos, things to prove, vendettas, and everything else, you have a group of investors that are now just kind of like, sure, I'll just keep buying and holding, and not really thinking about what they're doing anymore. You know, that's dangerous, man. That's fucking dangerous in my book.
Yeah. But I just want to say, man, you're always welcome here, brother. You know,
Appreciate you. Yeah.
you will never be disrespected, and you know, if somebody does, then they will get the same dose that they will never forget that dose. But you're always welcome. You know, I like, you know, nobody's perfect. I make mistakes. I still make mistakes, and I try to learn from those mistakes, right? But if we will keep people judging other people, you know, over and over for the same past mistakes, if somebody did, and you know, we can only judge people if we are clean. When I'm not clean, I have made mistakes. I still make mistakes. Who the hell am I to judge anybody, right? And that's, to me, that's just problematic, you know. But it's always good to hear from you, Spence, and all the people, man. I enjoy your guys' conversation, especially the Marines. You know, if I have the utmost respect for anybody, it's the people, those who have served for this country. Period.
If you met us in person, you might rescind that statement.
Absolutely rescind that comment, without a doubt.
I got Marine friends, man. Those who served, so I know. I have actually one of them. His brother lost a leg, so I know what the amount of sacrifice people do, and you know, not even get that much in return. And you know, here people sitting here in this country. You know, I love this country. For me, it's
me too.
it's the best. I have spent the best 16 years of my life in this beautiful country, and not even one day I have ever regret being here. So I mean, how many people can say that here, born here? So you know, for me, when I see people feeling entitled rather than being thankful, if people start being thankful rather than being feeling entitled, their lives will start changing. But you know, it's people just think this country owes them anything. This country owes nobody nothing. Rather, you owe what you do for this country. You know. So
It's
I'm
like
very.
the way I see it is like my family. You know, they've been in this country. We've benefited from American freedom. Able to build a business. My father and my brother and all my extended relatives. We've done well here, but nobody bothered to give back. And it's like, you got to give them a pound of flesh. You have to be able to give back to this nation and whatever the nation requires of you. You know, civil service used to be a proud thing. You gave your life to your country. Now it's just about individualism and selfishness. And you know, one day, God forbid, you know, it'll be that day where somebody knocks on your door. You got any males or females between 18 and 26 that are capable of firing a firearm? And when that day comes, we're going to be in trouble, you know. So I think you know, civil services is one of the highest callings next to maybe pastoring, you know, something to that effect. But you know, whatever.
If you don't maintain your house, it falls apart. Bottom line.
That's right.
And we're seeing it right now with all these kids fist fighting in high schools and cities falling apart and mass shootings and whatnot. When people do civil service, they get a sense of pride in what they've built and protected, and they maintain it. But now it's just a joke. All these kids are anti-American flag, anti this, anti that, and half of them, they got nothing but shit between their ears. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't even know how many stars are on the damn flag that they're walking on.
Do you ever see like Jimmy Kimmel when he interviews people on like Rodeo Drive?
Oh,
you
yeah.
See that? I see that. I just like cringe, man. I'm like, if their kids ever see that, or if their parents, you know, like how stupid is my fucking kid that he doesn't know how many stars there are on the, you know what I mean? It's nutty. It's nutty to me.
But Al, we had to get a citizenship through the test. We had to go through exams. We had to go take an oath. like everything. That's the thing. We value this country. We value everything. Because we know how hard it was to be a citizen of one of the best countries of the world, and that's why we appreciate. Because we know we value everything, and there are a lot of people, those who do value, but a lot of people just feel entitled, man. They think, and then they wonder why somebody from India who has been here for 16 years and has everything. Because I'm thankful every day and trying to make the best out of my life. So
where are you from in India? Just out of curiosity.
From Punjab, man, north side.
So if you've ever been to India, it's one of the most crowded places. And I'm going to speak for Sugar on this. You would not believe some of the shit that we have seen in our old country. You wouldn't fucking believe it. It would mortify you. Being an American is everything to people like us because we came from literally nothing. And to take that, if you think you're going to take that away from guys like me who had nothing and we built everything here, you are going to be sadly mistaken. Like, let them fucking come. Let them come to America. Fuck around, find out. You will see what happens when you fuck around. Like, we can put up, you know what, we can put up with most of the bullshit, but the day they come, they're like, oh, we can take America. They're weak, blah, blah, blah. Please show up. Please fucking show up. We will show you something that, I mean, they wouldn't have the balls, like China or Russia, they wouldn't have the balls to set foot into the United States of America, continental United States. It would be the worst thing.
I'm more worried about them coming from the inside than the outside, buddy. I'll tell you that.
There's always that, yeah. There's always that, isn't there? But I would never let this country fall into their hands. I would never. I mean, the idea of that is just so foreign to me,
Thank you, buddy. My parents are here, like it took me long time. Last year I built my first house, like after 16 years, and a lot of sacrifice, but I'm glad when I see my parents, I see the pride, because like you said, I literally come from nothing, right? And my parents were very hardworking. We have a little bit land, and they worked very hard to send me in one of the best schools and colleges. And in the village I come from, I was the only one who to come to America. And
and same with my father.
And today when I see the pride in my parents' eyes that their son has done something and made out of his life, and they are very, like my father, the other day when I went to my house, I have a decent house, and my father, he said something, and that's how I feel. And my father was like, this country is really a heaven on earth. And to me,
really
that's
is.
that's how I feel, and that's how much I love. Because when you have nothing and you come from zero and you make something, you can do anything in this country. But if you choose to make excuses and sit on a space call for 18 hours a day and smoke a bong, and then you have a title of your call saying sugar is broke, sugar has everything, bro. Why are you wasting your time on
Sugar is broke?
The Ape Radio people want
apparently they don't know you invested in HLBZ, huh?
No, but to me, I'm like, time is your biggest gift. If you are wasting it in this country, it's gone. Once that time is gone, it'll never come back. Yeah,
you're never getting that back. That's one of the biggest things that was taught upon us. It's like time is running out, and it's running out all the time. And if you're not either doing something great, or you're not leaving a mark, or doing something to better yourself and your family, even if it's not going to be you, even if you know you're going to die, it's kind of like Steven Seagal in Executive Decision, right? He's in that stealth fighter, right? Spence, he's in that stealth fighter, and he's pushing the SEALs up into that cavity of the plane. He goes, we're not going to make it. No, but you are. And he shuts the hatch and he dies, right? Do it for your fucking kids. Do it for your children. Let them work hard, drink yourself to death, whatever it is that you do, but give your children the very best so they can succeed. And it will happen. Generationally, it'll happen. The idea is to get out of poverty, get out of the middle class and into the affluent, into the rich, so you can have something and something meaningful, that your kids don't have to work. It's the most important thing you can do on this earth.
And Al, one thing, like, our younger generation, coming generation, we have to make them realize how lucky they are to be born here and what they have. As long we as parents, like my kids will never know what sacrifices and what hardships their father, but I'm gonna make sure, I'm gonna take them, I'm gonna show them like this is what you have now. I didn't had not even 10% of that, and I'm gonna make sure that they realize how lucky they are to be here. And once we start doing that things with our kids, making them realize, and they start being thankful and tell them how to appreciate everything. And our young generation will start doing really good. But we have, as parents, we have to be a better parents first, man. Then only our young generation can be better.
The worst thing that's happened to me since I've been in this country, and I've been in the country for almost 40 years, the worst thing that's ever happened, right, is nothing. Like the worst thing that's ever happened in terms of like gravity is like maybe when they got rid of, like Nabisco got rid of the Eskimo pie sandwich. That was the worst thing in my life that I could see really happening. That was really bad. That's it. Everything else has been gravy. I've been able to manage it, be able to take care of my family, my resources, my whatever. But I've never had anything catastrophic happen. The worst thing that's ever happened was, like I said, Eddie's, the ice cream company, they got rid of Eskimo pies. That was a pretty traumatizing thing because I love Eskimo pies. Anybody that knows me knows I eat Eskimo pies every day.
That's because you cran eater, man. You guys heat them things up in the microwaves and you hug each other and you kiss over Eskimo pies. It's gross.
Listen, Eskimo pies, if you've never had one, well, you can't now because they're all gone. But Eskimo pies were the greatest ice cream sandwich in the world, like ever created by any confectionery company in the United States. And they got rid of it because of political correctness. And let me tell you, my friends, I haven't forgotten that.
I was thinking of moon pies, not Eskimo pies.
Eskimo pies is an ice cream sandwich on a popsicle stick, and that was like my reward. Like whenever I did something great, I would reward myself with an Eskimo pie. That was it. Life was good. It was a simple treat that I had, and they fucked it up. The liberals fucked it up. So
let's start it up, man. Let's make this money and bring it back. Al's Eskimo pies.
I just want to. That's it. That's all I really care about. Like, I would like it if RJR Nabisco or somebody could bring that product back. That was it. But
we'll bring it back and we'll call it the Native Inuit pies.
I'll take that. You can call it whatever you want. Call it Inuit, Cherokee. Doesn't matter to me. Fuck, just bring it back. I gotta get going, boys.
All right, brother. Always.
Yeah.
Come. You too, man. It's always good to hear. Come back whenever you feel like. You're always welcome here, brother.
Thanks, guys. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. Yeah.
You too, Al. Have a good night, brother.
See ya.
All right, Mr. T. Spencer with the frog on the head. What you want to talk? Oh, my girl's here, man. About time you show up.
Mm-hmm.
About time you show up.
Hello, PJ. How are you, honey?
Hi, guys. How are you? I came in and I just texted y'all. I totally forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, man.
But I do want to put this out there, and I'm so thrilled. So not many of you know I had a foster child, right? And I took her when she was 14, and she's 27 now. And she sent me a message on Sunday that if I could be present on a Zoom because she's getting married. She has a job. She wound up saving $15,000, and she feels like finally she can get out of the ghetto where she is. And she thanked me, and I was hysterical crying because when we talk about, I guess we were talking about people maybe that come and don't work, come to the country, don't work, or whatever. There's a whole nother part of society that is unparented and unloved. And I think when you just show somebody even a little bit of what the right thing is to do as opposed to the wrong thing. And I always used to bring suffering into it. If this happens to you, this is how you're going to suffer for, all these years. If you do this one small thing and put $15 a week away, you'll have this in your IRA. And anyway, I'm just so proud of her. And I just wanted to just scream it to the world. I really am, because I thought many times she was going to die on the streets. And I'm So happy. So to the people, for my older friends out there, and the people that want to mentor younger people, it is so important to step up to that plate, because you never know whose lives you're going to change, ever.
PJ, that's very nice. That's a very good, and I'm just proud to say that.
Shug, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you, Spence? Can you hear me? Spence,
Fortunately.
can you hear me?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay. PJ,
Okay,
you might have
I'll
to
drop
drop.
down. I'll drop down so I can listen.
Come
Love you
on,
guys.
Spence. I'm gonna take your frog away from you. Okay, don't be messing. Don't be messing with the Indian. You see, there's another Indian still in the chat. We gonna
My
come
dog's
kick your
hungry
ass.
too, man.
We gonna they're two Indians. We gonna come kick your ass too.
He likes, my dog likes spicy food.
But that what PJ just said. This subject is very close to my heart. I had a friend. I have a friend who, she that's what she does. She like the foster kids. She helps kids get them good homes. Spence, you will believe there are 12 million foster kids in our country. 12 million foster kids. And to me,
Yeah,
me,
that's great, man.
we send billions of dollars to other countries, Ukraine, and it's okay. I understand, but there are millions of kids in our country who need help too. There are millions of kids in our country who need proper education. There are millions of our kids in our country who doesn't get even proper nutrition and proper food. If people stop wasting time on all the other infighting and everything, and just start doing what we need to do as a human being and as a good citizen of this country, we can solve a lot of problems, man. The real problems, not all the other.
Look at the influx of CEOs and computer programmers and absolutely genius people that are coming from Indian schools at a young age to America, and look at how successful they are. Why, we send billions and billions and billions for proxy wars, and it's like we should be spending that on immigration to do it properly. But we see how messed up the system is. And look at the insider buying right now on defense stocks and pharmaceutical stocks from insiders in Congress, and that's why the money never goes to the right place.
Yep. Hey, PJ.
We need to raise the immigration cap. I mean, the immigration caps haven't been raised in 30, 40 years. So if we could still expect 20,000 Mexicans or 500 Italians to come in to America, it's not possible. And it sets people up for coming illegally. And when you come to this country illegally, you go through hell. And it saddens me that we're not stopping this. It really does, because there's trafficking, there's child sex trafficking, organ trafficking, there's slavery, modern day slavery, and we are supporting this as a country by leaving those freaking borders open. And people say, "Oh, you're an anti-immigrant." I'm not. My family. I come from a family of immigrants. I'm here because of immigrants. We all are, and they didn't. It's just so upsetting to me. But anyway, we need to fix the immigration, not the immigration problem, the immigration policies, because it's not the people that are the problem, it's the policies that are the problem.
Would you let somebody in your house without at least asking them their name?
100%.
Of course not.
100%.
Yeah.
And PJ, I'm an immigrant, right? I came here 16 years ago. I did everything legally. But, like, it's not that difficult to solve the problem. You know how many of these people pay so much money just to come here illegally? If they can do have some kind of a system where the people, those who are paying money to all these people to, exploit them and everything, come in illegally, if they can do it legally, how much not only they can make it money, like let's say they can put one person like, okay, we will give you a path to immigration in 3 or 5 years, but this is how much you have to pay, or some kind of,
They can not
I've
only generate money and, and you know, these people get exploited. Where you get an average person gets $15 or $18 an hour, they get only $8 or $6 an hour because the people use them, exploit them because they're illegal. So
I've got
those people.
I've got the fix for it. I've had it for years. I've written it up. I've sent it to Congress, and it's commercializing immigration, where it's a government contract for agencies, companies to handle immigration into the US. The government never does anything right when it comes to healthcare, immigration, anything like that. So they need to contract it out per state at the immigration stations, and they need to pay companies per contract value to process people into the United States. Because I love Custom and Border Patrol. I've worked with them. I built helicopters for them. They can't handle it. They can't do it right. And if they try to do their job, they're instantly on TV saying they're a racist or something, and they get fired. So they need to contract immigration, leave the military or whatever protecting the border, but we need more immigration stations with civilian contractors that are going to process people in a timely manner, because the government can't handle it.
There are so many real issues, like education spends is one of the backbones of any country. Like India is not a very rich country. China, an average person is not. But you know, the parents and the families, they put so much pressure on kids. Like without education, there is no survival. Either you beg, work, steal, or starve to death. If you don't have education, there is no other way. Like I don't I have decent education, you know, like I'm not like Al, or you know, went to Harvard or whatever. But you know, in America, I still do better than a lot of people. Like my wife is MBA, but I make a lot more money than she does. But to me, what really problematic is that the education system here, like our public schools, like we don't emphasize as much as we should be doing on the kids and the education, on the degrees and all that stuff, as much as we do all the other stuff. It's very important. PJ.
I'm telling you, so like 10 years ago, we were ahead. The United States was ahead in research and development. Of course, we're always ahead, or historically, we're always ahead in research and development. But this was a decade ago. China was like closing in, and India was closing in on China. And all I keep on thinking for the past 10 years is I wonder if they surpassed us. I don't think they did, but I'm sure that gap is even smaller. And if we don't get educational policy correct in this country, we will get run over on the research and development highway, at which point we will begin to cease as a civilized nation. I'm telling you, this is going to happen. We need to pay close attention to that.
People are more worried about being a demo. This the mainstream media, man. I mean, India has one of the worst mainstream media, and American mainstream media makes it look a little better. Like that's how messed up our mainstream media is. They don't care you're black. They don't care you're white, brown, yellow, straight, left, right, or whatever. They don't care. They only care what agenda and narrative, how they can divide people, because that's how divide and rule has been the biggest to rule people. They never want, if everybody comes together and starts fighting and wake up for the real issues, they don't want people to unite and wake up and fight together.
You know what? You know what happens when you government contract the responsibility of processing immigration? You don't get Democrats and Republicans telling each and every other president that they're doing it wrong. You have a contractor that Congress holds accountable for not doing it correctly, and that's it. So the political talking points on immigration will basically, that, oh, you're this bad and you're this bad, it'll recede back to, well, how do we make it more efficient to save money? That's why immigration needs to be handled by civilian contractors and not the federal government.
But man, I just hope, like, yeah, our next generation, young generation, people need to focus more on that. Like, all these people, those who've been on offices for, to me, what that's the biggest problematic thing is How can somebody be in office for 50 years and worth over $200 million and still be there? Like, why can't all our differences put aside? Why can't we have a system, Democrat, Republican, where there are term limits? Like Supreme Court, okay, I get that. That has to be. But why can't we have these congressmen and senators? Why can't we have term limits where they cannot be? They're 80 or 90-year-olds sitting there. And I mean, like, why not young blood? People, those who want to change and with new ideas, new innovation. And it's like,
The
I
longer
don't know,
you
man.
sit,
If someday I become a politician, I'll fuck shop. I'm telling you that much.
the longer you sit in a congressional seat or a Senate seat, the
Yep.
longer you have to make friends who do you favors.
And
That's
get
why
entrenched.
they're there for life. And I think it's disgusting. And I really, really, really believe we need term limits, which is why I never vote for the guy who's already in office. I always vote for the other guy. Always. I guess the incumbent. I always vote for them. And it's just, unless I really like them. But it's just a matter of, we really, really need, I mean, this country's so messed up, and I don't even want to go off on it. So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut because
It's not the country. It's not. Don't say anything about my country, man. We're gonna have a problem. That's where we have a problem. It's not the country. That's what we need to realize. It's the people running this country. It's the people, those who are profiting off this country. It's the people, those who are using this country. It's the people, those who are dividing this country. Country has nothing to do with it. I don't know which president said that. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for
Kennedy.
your. Okay, I didn't know, but I just read it somewhere. I forgot, but it's not the country. Country. This is one of the best countries in the world. I lived in
Yes,
Europe.
I agree. I'm not throwing
But
America under the bus. I'm saying that this country is in trouble because of who was running it. I thought that was
yes,
understood.
yeah.
But that being said, you guys need to shake it up because we're like a bunch of puppets, whether we're Republican puppets or Democratic puppets, it doesn't matter. And we need to change things, and we need to change them fast, and that's by voting. If it ever happens that we have an election free of interference again, I don't know if that'll ever happen again in our lifetimes either.
Oh, PJ, I'm so mad right now.
Why are you mad, man?
Because Tesla's at 153.
Oh, it's okay. There's always another pay, remember?
I know.
We made so much money in the last so many months. There's always another play.
I tweeted the play this morning and I called it absolutely perfect to the penny. And then that FUD article came out and I seen all the Tesla people tweeting about it and nobody could confirm. And then as soon as I sold my call, I was on the phone with PJ. As soon as I sold it, Elon Musk came out and said, yeah, no, that's not what's happening. I was like, oh, you mother effers, man. But anyways, if you're in Tesla today, congratulations. That's
PJ still in here? PJ, are you still in Tesla?
Oh yeah, I have a pretty nice long position now, and I'm very happy with that stock.
Man, I should have bought it when it went to $100. Yeah, well,
we were trying to tell you.
Yeah,
she was like AMC to the moon.
It's all good, man. I wish AMC goes to the moon. I spent 18 months in this community and met some of the nicest people. And for the sake of them, I want people to make money. I'll be the last person, and once all this reverse split is done, I will not be here to listen from people what happened and not, because I can, man. I know how hard it is, how hard it was for me to make money and to get where I am today. And I just want everybody to make money and at least not lose their ass like DRS guy, dude. $850,000 down. Shit, my wife will kill me if I was down even what I was. Glad she didn't ever find out.
Well,
and you know what?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Don't go ahead.
People might hate me for this, but fundamentals matter. Sorry, they do. And you know, if something happened to like Amazon or something, and they were being short attacked, and their guy was crazy, and I thought I was going to lose my money, I would remember that fundamentals matter. and I'd be like, okay, I'll ride this out. I'll continue to hold through this mess. But with AMC, we have to, if it doesn't work out during the conversion and the reverse split, if we can't get out, at some point when it's all normal again, the price will go, maybe, and the fundamentals will be better, and who knows. So I don't think it's all lost if we lose out on the conversion or the arbitrage.
You know, and with Tesla too, why I'm starting to play different sector is because ExxonMobil. I took puts out on it today. I just saw a 114 triple top, 114 on ExxonMobil, and Chevron just announced a huge stock buyback, which tells me, hey, we want to take all this stock back while we're way in the money in profits. So we own the majority of the company. So when it starts to dip, we can reissue shares or whatever we need to do. But with Tesla getting ready to pump, or it is pumping, and me and PJ talked about this. We said Tesla's going to trap a bunch of shorts in at $100 and they're going to get crushed. Well, if Tesla keeps pumping, they're going to need to start unloading the energy stocks to cover their short positions if they want to try to keep them open. So I'm like, Tesla looks amazing. ExxonMobil looks like it's like very top peak. So I'm playing puts on that. And then I've got cash on the side waiting to do exactly what PJ said. Play the volatility in AMC, wait and see what the vote does. And then I'm going to play the options chain to the upside, possibly the downside, to make all this money back. And everybody has a chance to fix their bag here. But if you're just going to sit and hold and walk away from it and not look at it, you're going to run the risk of possibly 10xing your bag. So you got to really look at all the scenarios that are going on in the play. Adam Aaron just dropped an 8K and gave cheers to Credit Suisse. I mean, like,
That's
come
like
on.
that,
When
dude.
was that? I didn't
Today?
even know that. When was
my
that?
God.
Oh,
Spence?
let me read it to you,
Come
PJ.
on, you know PJ's gonna be mad. Just send
Today,
that to
this is Adam Aaron, and I quote, today we filed an SEC 8K that our bank lenders have extended a covenant waiver all the way to March 31st, 2024. That is a reflection of AMC's recovery being well underway. A vote of confidence in AMC by our banks that we much welcome. Thank you, Citi, Goldman, and Credit Suisse. So now
I am so sick and tired. You know what that was? That was a swap. They swapped. That's what they did. You do this for me, I do this for you. Okay, and they're stroking each other while they steal all our money.
Yep.
I am so done with these people. Done. I cannot wait to get out of this trade. I cannot wait to ignore it all again and just trade my stocks the way I used to. I hate this effing stock.
All three of these banks are short AMC. All three of them. And they own the debt. And he's making deals with the short sellers on the side to flip this play through the conversion. So I'm going to wait. If APE drops a little bit, I might buy some more for the arbitrage. But I'm going to wait till it's converted and catch it at $1.50 to $3 and buy those calls at, $2.53, whatever. Ride it to $7 when the shorts cover and get out, because he's selling us out to the banks and the lenders and the institutions. That's what he's doing.
What I really wish, whatever happens between reverse split or conversion, let's see what happens, right? And if nothing happens, works, everybody in this community, hate me, call me shill, unfollow me, block me. It don't matter, man. I'm not here for that. But if nothing of these works in favor of the shareholders, people should tell him to step down, which he already probably had a lot of shares. He'll probably leave. People should ask him to step down, put a new CEO, ask him to take it to the Tzero, and I will come back. I'll invest my money. I'll go with long with people. That's the only way I feel like. If they do this on the tokenized Tzero BSDX, Spence, if nothing else goes, try it. At least now try it for fuck's sake, after 18 months, man. Well, how much we tried, but how much shit we took. Like, literally, I was really bad people. Like, hey, man, let's get together. Let's do this. I was tweeting Adam and like, please. Like, Mark even sent him again. I remember when, I think it was March or April, when we asked Mark, and
He sent him my email again, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, when I asked Mark to be more nice and cordial, and he was. And then Adam Aaron just didn't reply or told him to stand down or whatever. But it's to keep repeating, we need to do this, we need to do this. There's a reason Adam Aaron isn't doing it and didn't do it. It's because it would have done what we wanted and not what they wanted. That's the bottom line. So, like I said, there's still theories to this day. Oh, AMC is going to still squeeze. It's still going to squeeze. That's been the theory the entire time. The entire time he's just been selling us, stock cheaper and cheaper and diluting more and more. And then he forced ape on us without a vote, diluted the crap out of us. Then he sold 300 more million, diluted us again. And now he wants to dilute AMC, and then he wants to reverse split and dilute us again. That's stupid. It's dumb.
When I could bet my life that if we weren't holding this stock hostage and we didn't create a bubble, this would not be happening. If we traded this stock in a healthy manner, this would not be happening.
Yeah, but buy and hold was the way, remember? It was that or nothing, man. Well, that's what we didn't never
because
understood.
We listen to idiots. That's why.
Yeah,
if Adam Aaron wouldn't have done what he did, then I would stick by buy and hold and still be telling people the DRS. But as soon as he did what he did and he said we are converting, I was like, this is stupid. You just crushed any hope we had of doing what we were going to do, because it's not a simple fact that he's diluting. He's diluting 10 times to 20 times under the fair market value price of what AMC should really be at. Meaning he's not just diluting 1-to-1. He's diluting the value of the stock down to nothing. Because when you got a $6 stock and you're selling potential new shares of it at 60 cents, that makes the people holding the $6 shares go, well, that's stupid. Why is mine worth 6 and theirs is worth 60? He's devaluing the stock to push us out of the play. The vote is now going to go to the institutions who are going to convert an ape and cover their short positions. And then the reverse split, they're going to reshort it, and he's going to raise money and at $5 again or some crap like that, or 10 or 20 or whatever.
If Spence did, the squeeze was inevitable. There was no way out for the shorts to get out of the mess they were in. And Adam, they were, like the other guy, the guy was saying that he got tapped. He got tapped on his shoulder, like, man, and there was no way out for these people. And they all made a plan. He made a plan. And, maybe Ape was not in his real mind to make it, but when you sell 300 or some million shares for 66 cents, and you took the money out of your shareholders and literally give these guys shares for pennies. I mean, you just cannot justify that. You can say anything, whatever other decisions he made, okay, I can agree. But you cannot come and tell me, justify that somebody gives 300 some million shares or whatever for 66 cents a share. And now those people, when it gets converted, like this is designed to help only one people, his bondholders. And after all this reverse split conversion, whatever happens, if it didn't work out, at least these people can have some kind of guts and stand up for themselves and ask this guy to just step down and take it to T0 or whatever. Like, take it to T0 where they can be found. Like, there can be no manipulation, no dark pools, 1-to-1 stock. Like Mark was saying, man, I really regret when Mark said, when he said stand down to Mark, like how many months we were just going after, like people were, like we were called names, like racist shit. Like we heard stuff like I never heard from being in America for 15 years. Like stuff I heard from people in Twitter. And that's why I say these people don't represent America. The America I love and live is one of the most loving, caring, accepting, and respecting people. And this cult, the mentality people has changed into, like MMTLP community, they are like what we was. I love the reason I go there, not because like the hedge and all those snakes, those who go there because for clout and more followers and likes. I'm not. it reminds me what I came here for, how my community used to be, how people were sharing each other's stories, loving and accepting and, listening to each other, not making some YouTuber and all that. And a lot of people from AMC community, they're going in their calls, and I'm telling you, Spence, I hope it doesn't happen, but they are going to divide those people. They're going to mess that community too, just as much as we
I
are
think
divided.
they'll end up just telling them to bounce, because I noticed, Ape Radio and Jen and them guys are in there and trying to, first they were arguing and causing drama, then they would come back and they were nicer, and then they're trying to flip, and it's like, no, I think the MMTLP community know exactly what they're about, and I think they're super focused, and I think they're going to push it right into this protest, and it's going to be great. I think MMTLP is going to end up being something you see in the news one day. I think they're right on, man. I think they got it.
I guess who I see, man. I haven't heard
Swing.
from I DM'd him. I'm like, dude, are you okay? I was worried. I was like, man, I never even heard him.
Right out there making money, man.
Yeah, but man, Swing is one of those guys that I always regarded him as with a lot of respect and a lot of knowledge, man. Swing, come up if you can, man. I haven't heard you in for 4 months, Spence, now. I sent him a DM. I was like, bro, are you all right? I've never heard from you or anything. And he's like, he's busy, with the
kids, man. Pick him up and take him out to go to the bathroom.
Well, let's see if Swing has time. Let him come up and let's chat for a little bit. Then I'm sitting outside my house. I just got done working, so. But if he'll come up. I want to just talk to him and listen to him and ask him how he has been, man. I miss our calls, man. Those times were good times, man.
Oh yeah, my dog's the dope, man. He hurts himself running, catching a ball. Then he goes to the doc, and then I get him. Then he comes back and he starts healing up, and then he decides to get the zoomies out of nowhere today, and he hurt his leg again. So I'm gonna have to strap him down or something.
Hey, Mr. Swing, long time no see.
Hey, Sugar, how's it going?
Good, brother. How you been?
As your title says, living the American dream. Just sometimes that hustle means that I'm busy.
Busy is good as long as you're making money and brother taking care of the family. It's good. I was just worried. I haven't seen your tweets. I haven't heard you or I haven't seen you in any of the calls. I was like, man, I hope you are okay.
You missed Morant's rants today, Swing. Oh. And just so you know, I'm buying all the corduroy Pokemon up at GameStop, the stuffy ones. Super high quality, super cheap.
Yeah, good old Morantz and his rants. Is he back on Twitter? Because didn't he get kicked off for a while or something? I thought I saw something about that.
He just started a new account to try to come in here and stir stuff up after, he came back, apologized, we let him in, we talked, everybody was cool. Then he came out and started talking crap again out of nowhere about me specifically, and he came in the room and I instantly heard him. I was like, that's Morantz, man. He tried to go after Pete from Philly. I was like, you got to be out of your mind, dude.
Yeah. So anyway.
So what's new? What's going on with you lately? Anything new? Anything? What you thinking? What you think about this ape and word split and what's going, man? Has been a lot of on everybody's minds.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to cause some action for sure, but what's going to happen after, that's a whole nother scenario. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because I mean, obviously there's still the rate parity issue, where the two aren't trading at parity when they should be, because they should in theory be worth the same thing. So but once that vote happens, that'll clear that up. But at the same, it also is odd that doing it at the same time, I almost wish that it was done stacked so it wouldn't happen at the same time, although I guess they could execute it at different times. They could execute the one and then execute the reverse split after. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Exactly. I 100% agree with you. I think the staggered effect, if it is going to convert, staggering, it's going to help retail the most. If it's for some reason, if it doesn't convert, then all the ape holders are going to be caught with a bag because the stock's going to drop and AMC will probably rise. So I'm just, of course, I've got my head ripped off past couple months, but I'm trying to get people to understand the volatility that's coming with this thing and how they can play it. Because having a $25 AMC cost average, getting converted, which is 125% dilution, and then getting reverse split and reshorted is just going to absolutely annihilate them. 10-to-1 reverse split.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to definitely obviously shrink the float down and make any either AMC or ape that gets released into the market from AMC that much more per unit price tag. So won't have to release as many to dilute. It is ashamed that so many got let out at whatever 66 cents or whatever that ridiculous price was. But you know, the fact that they're going to hold on to that, and those units are going to be ones that they're going to want to vote in favor of the conversion for them to be able to get the most out of that. You know, that there is that aspect of it that we have going for it, because I still follow a lot of what Dr. T talks about far as how Wall Street manipulates the votes and makes it so that votes go the way that they want them to, and all of that kind of stuff. Where, you know, it's the corporate, the large corporate owners, their votes count. Does retail's votes count? Well, probably not, or not 1-to-1 for sure. You know, they'll take. You know, if there's a million shares owned by Charles Schwab people, as an example, you know, they may only have 500,000 shares according to DTCC, and so then those votes get cut in half. You know, because they can't overvote. So it is just a shame that this is the way it is, but until we go to a blockchain-based voting system, it's going to be the way it's going to always be. So until proper change happens, Wall Street's not going to change, because that's how they make money.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, I wish I could sell, you know, millions of units of something that I don't own or don't have, and don't have to, and I don't have to buy, and yeah, be able to sell that to people and get away with it. That sounds amazing. You know, I've ran businesses of my own, involved in operations of businesses. You know, that sounds like a great gig, to have zero cost basis for cost of goods sold.
I just made an NFT of Sugar's house and sold it. He doesn't know it yet.
Oh, I'll bid on that.
Yes, it's on. Let me give you my OpenSea.
You didn't do it with Loopring. Come on, I thought you were a GME guy.
Oh,
Come
yeah,
on.
I forgot.
You got to do it on Loopring.
Well, Marantz came in and harassed me again, so I can't use GME stuff.
Yeah. Well, you know, minting on Loopring is super, super cheap. So there is that. I to be honest, I've never minted anything on OpenSea, so I have no idea what to compare it to. But I have minted on Loopring, and it's super cheap. You know, a couple fractions of a penny.
You know, as good of a community GME is, like, you know, Moran says, I don't know why you kicked him, man. You should have just given me 2 more minutes with that guy. I would have. As good of a community GME is, that Moran's guy is, he's just.
He came into the call, and Pedro was mid speech. He's like, "Oh, I got to interrupt you. Do you know about this?" And it's like, who do you think you are, man? You have a dinky YouTube page that nobody goes to because all you do is like get it wrong. And then he came in and interrupted a 40-year Wall Street guy giving a lecture about how messed up the markets are, so he could talk his garbage on his YouTube channel. It's like, get the F out of here, dude.
Yeah, that guy, as much as I don't like the grifters and YouTubers in our community, but man, that guy has an agenda. All he does is bash AMC people. Like I don't agree with everybody and get along or like everybody, those who have enriched themselves. But I don't go all day like bashing people just because I can get more likes and clicks on a YouTube. And when I wanted to ask him a question, Spence just boom, booted him out. I was like, okay.
I'm not in the mood, dude. I got fudded out of my Tesla calls today. Oh, you saw that swing, right? I got Tesla calls at like 143 or whatever, out for like 30 days. And Tesla just started rocking it. I called all the targets right. And then New York Wall Street Journal comes out with a FUD piece, which I had to track down because it came from a bunch of other Twitter accounts. And it was like, oh, yeah, Elon Musk is going to sell more Tesla shares to raise cash for Twitter. I was like, oh, here we go. The Tesla call plays over. Well, it was a lie. Musk came out and said, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. So I just sold my Tesla calls. And as soon as I did, the thing just freaking ripped, man. Just banana ripped.
Yeah, I saw that after hours price action. I saw that they beat consensus, which to be honest surprises me that they were able to pull that off given all the headwinds. But good on them. I haven't looked into the details of it, but I saw the price action.
And I'm shorting oil. I'm shorting ExxonMobil. People are gonna. Well, I'm buying puts. People are gonna call me crazy, but I think it's gonna pay out. So
why are you buying puts on ExxonMobil?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
They're at all-time highs. They just hit a triple top on 114 over a 30-day period. And on the monthly chart, the RSI is through the roof. And then Chevron just announced a stock buyback.
75 billion. That's what I was going to say.
When you're at the top of the game is when you buy back stock, not when you're at the bottom. And I'm telling you, the new administration that's going to be coming in, they're going to be energy independent, meaning prices are going to drop, demand's going to go back up because people can afford it. And then the production costs and the accidents and bringing production back to America and all this stuff is going to add up in cost to these energy companies. And I'm going to play the downside. Like, Exxon going back down to 80 at least, in my opinion, is logical, especially with the market being over leveraged. Imagine the only stocks up right now like this are ExxonMobil and Chevron and the energy stocks. When you need liquidity to manage your short book, you're eventually going to have to dip into your plays that are at all-time highs. So I'm taking not a huge position. I got like $5,000 in puts on it. If it hits 80, I'll check the RSI again. And if it's still pretty high, I'll wait till 60 and I'll cash out. And it's a sector flow play, like the ebbs and flows of the sectors, man, especially with the political climate. So I'm pretty excited to be able to get in at the top I hope this is the top anyways, but when I see it bounce 3 times on a 30-minute chart or a 2-hour chart, that's a pretty good indication it's having trouble. So I might be wrong. I don't know.
Swing, did you check into Hellbiz and all these companies? The one CEOs are fighting.
I've been following the tweets about him, but I haven't looked into the companies that hard to see what's going on.
I'm waiting to buy a scooter, man. I'm gonna drive it to the tap room.
There you go.
Yep. Either way, I got to bounce, man. Swing, it was really good to hear from you.
Yeah, it's good to hear from you, Swing. You should come up, man. We should do, chat more when you get time.
Yeah, it just life's busy, and especially with my crew that I have to shuttle around and stuff like that. But
Spence, is somebody speaking?
Yeah, he's speaking. Sugar, you just can't hear him.
Yeah, I can't hear him, man.
He said you're a stupid AMC clout chaser, and
nah, he will never. Swing is the last one person. I've never seen him going after everybody, never cursing, never.
Like I've seen literally people come in when there were 800 people in our calls, and the guy never lost his cool. I would be ready to fuck shit up, but man, I've never seen him lose cool. And to me, you know, I have a lot of respect for Swing. He's a good guy, man. From day one, since I joined the calls, I've seen him here with you guys, and he's a good guy, man. I'm just glad, man, to hear from you. If he can't hear me, just tell him, you know, it was good to hear from him. I don't know what the hell starts happening with these calls. I don't know, man. It always messes with me. But Swing, I hope you come again, brother, and I hope you all have a good night. I'm sitting outside my house too. I gotta go see my kiddos, and you know, I wish you all have a great weekend, and maybe we'll do a call again sometime
Right
when the Spence wants. Have a good night, folks.
See you later, Clout Chasers.
Have a good night, Swing. Oh, Miss Harris is coming up. Let me.
Oh, we better let her do her thing. Yeah.
Miss Harris.
Yeah, I had to tell you, Sugar. Don't. I got to tell you. I'm telling you.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Miss Harris, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you, Spence.
She can hear you, Sugar.
Okay, Sugar.
Okay, that's okay then. As long
don't buy
just tell her
anything.
I can't hear her, but she can speak.
Don't buy. Can you hear me, Sugar?
He can't hear you, but you can hear him.
No, I didn't hear him to hear me because I got to tell him what Jeremy told me. So Sugar, I'm gonna go.
Oh, you better DM him.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll DM you with the good stuff, Sugar. Tell him Spence.
I can't hear. Yeah, just tell her to DM me.
Yeah, she's gonna DM you with the good stuff. She said. I don't know what kind of deal y'all got going on, but.
Oh, okay.
About the stocks.
Hey, we gotta make money, man. We gotta make money. We gotta make money. We got them stocks going. We gonna be so, like their Boss Blunts guy. But like their Boss Blunts guy, we gonna be so rich. We won't know how to buy the snapbacks.
Yeah.
Just wait. We gonna come up with our own snapbacks.
You guys pushing $145 calls and selling hats on the.
All right, everybody, thanks for coming. Please like and subscribe. Tomorrow I'm going to be on streaming, checking out the Occupy SEC 2023, supporting in a way that I can currently. And I'm going to try to capture as much as I can. And if I get Charles Payne on live at the interview on YouTube TV, I'll try to put it up for everybody to view. But tomorrow's a big day, man. You guys, words of encouragement to the people that are going to the Occupy SEC protest. This is huge. This is what needs to happen. This is the best organized way to do this is during a stock meltdown movement type of thing, instead of just people camping out on the street, doing the protest right, getting CEOs together, CEO block, getting the money together, getting the people together, lobbying in Congress, and forcing a fix to the broken system. So you guys have a great night. I'll be on